make an early play happen before the healing guy gets too strong, right?
You just need anti-heal. He's the Augie. If we have anti-heal, doesn't matter if it's early, mid, late.
By the way, I'm downloading Marvel Rivals.
I'm gonna go join Pug.
You have to open these trios.
Hey Josh, look at this. This is my POV.
What'd you send?
Look out.
Oh, I have to check Discord.
Hmm.
You in Discord?
Yeah.
Is that
My
what you
POV, bro. My POV.
Eric, you left the match. Eric, you left the match.
Just give a really
Oh
quick
shit.
update. It's been about a year since I got my concussion, and even though I got it in a very silly way, because it wasn't such a silly way, I didn't think that would give me a concussion. I didn't think the pain I was going through in the moment was a concussion. So I, it was early in the morning, I went back to sleep. I thought I was out for 30 minutes. Turns out I was out for 3 hours. And so after a year, I wanted to share kind of some of the effects that I've seen after a year of having a concussion.
Selena started off.
So one thing that I noticed that is
You dumb bitch!
my ability to process certain information is lacking. It's either
Okay.
really
Okay.
difficult for me to understand certain things that are patterns that I'm focusing on. Or remembering certain organs is different.
Bro.
I was really curious why that would be, and then I remembered that when I got my concussion, the first book that I got, it was hard to use a
Okay.
it felt wrong, and I couldn't use I'm right-handed. I couldn't use my right hand.
Catch my
I
wig.
used my left hand, and I held it like this is the sport. The sport kind of edge the spokes. I did like that and like this, and it was really like fast, hard, choppy motions, which you would typically see with young children. And I have since looked into that a little bit. I'm not a doctor. I'm not saying this is fact, but to me it seems very much like that was a potential early sign that certain processing ability.
Yeah, what's going on? We gonna know.
Character customization.
Okay,
Probably should start up with a female character, and then probably later on change the character into a main one. Hey, I like this one, bro. Let me just look at her. Right, let's go, boys. Oh crap, what am I looking at? Sorry about that, guys. I actually didn't notice. I mean, please don't judge me.
My heart goes out to you. Oopsie, oopsie, I rejected him from South Africa art school, yeah? And they call him Elon Musk. I think it's more like Egon Witzke, yeah? And he knows that never journalistic.
Did anyone hear that?
Lavender? No way, right? Selena's bought.
Oh, my back.
Perfect healing. Nice. Holy.
Oh.
Okay, turtle flip. Or do not practice.
I trolled. I got hit by everything. You guys win. Holy. Holy.
That's a team.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
the invincible team. No way. I think I beat Zoe.
What does he even do? You don't even know what he does. That's why. Like, what even happened? I
Just
still
an algae. Ugh. Just inhaling air. I need mods.
Holy, this Selena's too good.
I need more mods.
Oh my god.
I just realized I need more mods.
The fuck? It's Layla. Holy. You got a farm. Go for the support. Nice. I got top. Keep pushing.
Yes.
Is this Josh awakening?
Okay. No,
Yeah.
I've always been awake. Oh, look what the 3%. I didn't check right there.
Yeah. Facts.
You can't lose a third time.
Facts. It's time to do a mental reset. Oh,
One place first.
5 seconds? I think everyone's here. We need our team to be here. Or we can play. Oh, they're hiding in the bush. Anybody have one more? Wait. I trolled. Bro, I'm trolling right now. Holy, what am I doing?
Ugh. Oh, it's based on red light, green light. Don't move.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god.
What is that healing? Yeah, she's so fat. Yeah, it's cooked.
This is not.
We should not play one round. Why did I ask you to play one round? Okay.
Mental reset. Mental reset.
You need a mentor reset, bro?
See that?
Dude, everyone play
Can-
back except for
Can
you.
someone view my fucking stream?
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone play back except for you, Josh. .060 is crazy. 055 is crazy. Nah, I need mental reset, bro. For sure, for sure. Oh, Josh, mental reset, bro. Tomorrow.
I dodged so many anvils.
Anvil. You want? You doing Eric?
What? Or tomorrow, bro?
Alright, tomorrow.
Yeah. Glitch. PS4 glitch? Alright, see you, bro. Alright, see you, Jackson. He's playing Minecraft right now. Jackson. Alright, see you, see you.
Dude, this looks scary right here. Look what I sent this over. This looks scary right here. Oh wait.
He's still in the call.
No, he's not. But he's right though. That last game, I was the only one of the team that even got killed. He did not play well.
I got 7th. Yay. Alright. Alright, sub. Dude, you wanna play Minecraft?
Yeah.
Because I'm live streaming right now. I'm gonna put some YouTube on. YouTube is perfectly fine, right? Is YouTube perfectly fine as long as I'm watching videos? Yeah, YouTube is perfectly fine as long as I'm watching videos.
Are you on Darwin?
Bedrock.
The newborn in Roma.
I have a video on in the background, by the way.
Uchiha, and he is the new younger brother of Itachi Uchiha. Elsewhere, at a different time and place, the wife of the 4th Hokage is also giving birth to a baby boy, whose name will be Sasuke. He was named as such after Sasuke Sarutobi, the father of the 3rd Hokage Hiruzen. But as you know, the bearer of the Nine Tails, Kushina, is a prime target, especially during pregnancy. This was why she was given an Anbu escort and moved to a secret location to give birth. But that does not stop the attack. The mysterious masked man whose identity is totally unknown manages to track them down, and in an intense battle, Kushina loses her tailed beast. I'm sure you know this story by now. Minato and Kushina sacrifice themselves to defeat the
By the way,
giants,
when we get axes,
claw, and then using the Reaper Death Seal to implant the tailed beast into their infant son. Minato and Kushina then perish, and baby Sasuke is left all alone to discover
6
who he is
actually.
in Sarutobi. We flash forward. All Naruto Uchiha desires is
I know.
to train with his brother, but Itachi is always too busy, or so he says. Naruto
Hang on,
is
let me text that
determined to
person that I was
surpass
texting last night, and
He will
let me know
surpass
that
Itachi
I
one day
know.
and become the Hokage. And when he
Oh,
is
yeah.
Hokage, he can command Itachi to play with him.
I saw it while you were, you know.
He has no friends, no family. He's merely seen by others as the demon fox. He tries to play with other kids,
No.
but their parents quickly pull their children away. He walks the village and sees an old Anbu mask that interests him. The store owner basically throws it at him, hitting him in the face with it, saying, "You want it? Take it. Now get out of here." Of course, this mask is now tainted. Instead of being a symbol of heroism to look up to, it is a symbol of the hatred of the village to a child who hasn't done anything wrong. He would later join the academy to become a shinobi. At this point, Sasuke's constant abuse has closed him off and caused him to resent people. Even those who would become his friends, he's distrustful of. As for Naruto, on one specific night, without warning, his elder brother eradicates everyone in their village, telling him that he isn't worth killing, and that if he ever wants to get revenge on him, he'll need the same type of eyes as Itachi, the Mangekyo Sharingan. This event traumatizes Naruto. Eventually, Naruto and Sasuke would attend the academy where they meet. Naruto would see Sasuke as a kindred spirit, but neither would immediately attempt a friendship. After all, Naruto was just betrayed by the one person he called his truest friend, and he's already surrounded and fawned over by others, including many girls. He's especially fawned over by Sakura Haruno, with which he reciprocates. Naruto breezes through the academy, but Sasuke has issues when it comes down to the most basic techniques, including Shadow Clone Jutsu. Sasuke is told about the Scroll of Seals by Mizuki, but Sasuke is too prideful and refuses to go after it. Instead, he keeps trying over and over again. Naruto would see Sasuke struggling, and a part of him wants to cut him a break, so he goes over and would aid him in learning it. Sasuke would be cold, asking as if he doesn't want his help, and Naruto would throw that in his face and threaten not to help him. But in the end, Sasuke relents and decides to learn from Naruto. Together they would pass the final exam and be assigned to a team. Team 7, under Kakashi Hatake. Of course, Naruto would do his classic eraser prank, which causes Kakashi to already see this is going to suck. They have a small meet and greet telling their dreams and what they want to do. Naruto still wants to become Hokage, and Sasuke isn't quite sure what he wants. He has no plans and doesn't see much of a future. He just decides he wants to be a shinobi so that maybe he might belong somewhere. So that being said, it brings the moment down. After this, they would do Kakashi's bell test, and most everything remains the same. We flash forward to the Land of Waves arc, where Team 7 would end up on a mission with a far higher rank than anticipated. The Demon Brothers come out to attack, and Sasuke attempts to fight back, but he's quickly knocked away. Naruto would drop in and manage to accurately defend Sasuke and defeat the Demon Brothers. Sasuke gets angry having to be saved by Naruto and continues on. They end up facing Zabuza, and everything goes practically the same, except Naruto and Sasuke are switched. After being taught how to climb trees by Kakashi, Naruto and Sasuke nearly train themselves to death to learn. Upon meeting Inari for the first time, Inari would exclaim that there are no heroes and that they're stupid for trying. Naruto would start to get offended by this, but ignore it. On the other hand, Sasuke, who Inari was talking to, would respond with, "You're right, there are no heroes. All that matters is who's the strongest." And Sasuke proceeds to tell them all that he will become the strongest. Kakashi sees a similar spirit within Sasuke as he himself had when he was younger, before he understood what it was to have a team. He sees the dynamic between Sasuke and Naruto to be similar, if not the same, as what he himself had with Obito. Sasuke would put in overtime to learn and catch up with Naruto. He would sleep outside where he meets Haku. He'd be more defensive than Naruto was in the original series. He'd likely even pull a kunai on Haku. Sasuke would then ask what she was doing here, and Haku would respond by telling Sasuke that she is indeed a he. Sasuke would then tell them to get to the point and get Haku to tell him what he was doing there. Haku says he's just picking flowers and moves on. They would then go on to protect Kazuna as he and the others build the bridge, leaving Sasuke at home due to working himself to the bone. Of course, Zabuza shows up and everything proceeds as normal. Naruto ends up in the demonic mirroring ice crystals jutsu, and Sasuke attempts to help him out and ends up trapped. Naruto takes the shots meant for Sasuke and seemingly dies. He doesn't, he just looks like he did. And Sasuke would get so mad at himself and mad at Haku for killing the one person who seemed to actually care for Sasuke like a brother. And that causes Sasuke to lash out with the Nine Tails power. He utterly murders Haku. Haku has no chance. Sasuke more than just kills Haku, he utterly ravages him, rips him limb from limb. To Sasuke, dead is not dead enough. He needs to make him unrecognizable, and he does. Kakashi gains purchase and manages to kill Zabuza. Gato and his men show up on the bridge, and Sasuke in a rage rushes out at them and rips them apart as well. All this time, Kakashi is attempting to keep Sasuke safe from them, telling him to get a hold of himself. Sasuke loses complete control and eviscerates everyone. This would startle the builders and those in the area. While they're glad to be free from Gato and his men, the events that transpired, all the death, they decide that they should name it the Blood Mist Bridge. Naruto is revealed to still be alive and enjoys being nursed back to health by Sakura, and Kakashi also needs medical attention from defending Sasuke. All the while, Sasuke wonders what the heck happened to him. Where did all that power come from? Upon return to the village, the Hokage is briefed on the situation, and he believes it's best to bring Sasuke in and explain it to him. Sasuke is surprised to discover that he is the Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails, and suddenly it all makes sense to him. He's always been hated because he harbors a power the people of the village could never match, a power that killed the fourth Hokage. When asked who sealed the beast into him, Sarutobi tells Sasuke that it was his father, the fourth Hokage, Minato Namikaze. Sasuke goes silent. A mix of emotions are going through his head, but he shows none of them. He asks to be excused, and Hiruzen nods. Sasuke leaves. As he processes the whole situation, he begins to feel a single emotion: anger. The entirety of his life, he has been hated. Hated because of something he didn't understand. Judged for being the host of something they considered evil. To Sasuke's eyes, he was a hero, sacrificing his body to imprison something that could destroy the village, and yet they treated him like he was the scum of the earth. He thinks about how he is the son of the Hokage.
I see you.
And asks why then that Hiruzen didn't take
I
care
invited you.
Why did he leave him alone? Everyone acted as if they didn't care what happened to him, and that angers Sasuke even more. The Chunin exams arc would begin, and they would be allowed to take the exam by Kakashi and Hiruzen. The exams begin with a written test. Naruto aces the questions through use of his Sharingan. Sakura also does pretty well, and Sasuke refuses to even pick up his pencil. Sakura and Naruto keep looking back at him, wondering what he's doing. Sasuke just doesn't seem in the mood for this.
I am dodging and weaving mobs right now.
Naruto assumes it's because he learned about his past and the connection with both the fourth Hokage and the Nine Tails. Kakashi would have told them due to being on the squad, but warns them not to talk about it. The 10th and final question comes around, and they're warned that if they take it, they will need to get it right or they'll be
Do you have a map?
forever. Sakura and Naruto decide to take the question, and Sasuke doesn't seem to care. So
Activate your
he
map
says,
because
"Well,
you're.
doesn't plan to
I'm
answer."
going in the
By
opposite
immediately
direction
standing
away.
firm, Sasuke passes the test.
I know.
Then comes the Forest of Death. Sasuke participates in it merely because his team
Good.
needs him to become Chunin. Orochimaru would attack them as he had before, but Naruto wouldn't be phased. Naruto would attempt to use Genjutsu on Orochimaru, but he fails to put him under. Sasuke attempts to attack Orochimaru, but is knocked back and out. Orochimaru brands Naruto with the Cursed Mark, and both are down for the count for a few days. The hopes were that Naruto would turn to the dark side and achieve the strength to kill Itachi. The Genin of the Hidden Sound attempt to ambush them, but they're fended off by Rock Lee just as in the original series. Everything from here on happens according to the original. However, when the Chunin exams exhibitions come around, Sasuke decides to bow out. He doesn't really care anymore. Kakashi would ask him why, and Sasuke would give no definite answer. Naruto would end up facing off against Neji, and the crowd is excited to see how a Sharingan user will fare against a Byakugan user. Naruto managed to pull off an astounding victory. While his battle was tough, his ingenuity inherited from his canon self, multiplied by his prodigious nature inherited from the Uchiha that we gave him back here, and he and his Sharingan allows him to find the weak point at the back of Neji's neck just as before, but far quicker. His varied use of techniques make it easy to strike from there hard. Then he gets a month off for training, where Kakashi teaches Naruto the Lightning Blade. Sasuke, meanwhile, is attempting to learn more about his tailed beast, even managing to get in contact with it. Due to having dropped out of the Chunin exams, Sasuke would not need to train too hard, and so he likely would not come into contact with Jiraiya. After the training is done, Naruto would return to face off against Gaara in the finals. His defeat would be sound, and the start of the Konoha Crush would begin.
I'm all about staying one step ahead.
I see you too.
Future that can keep up. Here, I'm finding life that fits me. And this is just the beginning.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm gonna make us a little, like, 2-story base. That's why it's like this. Oh, be careful.
Febreze, when you host, your bathroom can feel like a revolving door. Keep things fresh with Febreze Bathroom. It's an outlet-free air freshener with 5 odors for 45 days. So even after every flush, you know your bathroom smells amazing.
By the way, if you're wondering why I'm doing it like this, hang on, let me change my skin.
Hi, honey.
There we go.
Morning, Brent, huh?
Dr. Garcia.
That's millions of bacteria growing overnight.
Crespro Health helps prevent oral health issues before they start.
Watch out!
Sasuke would team up with Naruto and Sakura to go after Gaara, but Gaara would transform into his tailed beast mode after incapacitating Sakura.
Creeper.
Naruto would not be sure how to win, but with cold determination, Sasuke decides what to do. He begins to remove the seal on Kurama, just as Kurama
Dumb
and
fucking-
achieves a partial transformation with 8 tails. In this form, he would be completely berserk. He would manage to kill Gaara and Shukaku, but beyond that, Sasuke would begin to go on a rampage. Naruto attempts to stop him, but fails. Eventually, Kakashi would come, and with the power of the Sharingan, would manage to pacify Sasuke. Meanwhile, Minato would appear in Sasuke's head to reinforce the seal to stop him. Sasuke looks to Minato with a cold glare full of hatred. He asks Minato if he knows. Minato would ask what Sasuke means, and Sasuke would ask if he knows what kind of life he has lived until now. Minato would shake his head, and Sasuke would spill his heart out to him, telling him everything he has suffered, and then put it all on Minato. Minato would apologize profusely and tell him he had no better idea of what to do, and Sasuke would have said that maybe he should have let Kushina drag the Nine Tails to the grave with her. If she had, maybe Sasuke would have not been alone, and maybe he would have had a better life. Minato explains the balance idea, and Sasuke would tell him in no uncertain terms that he gives zero damn about the balance between the tailed beasts. Once more, Minato would apologize, basically begging for forgiveness now, and Sasuke would refuse it. He would tell Minato to get lost. and
Fucking
never
mobs!
see him
I'm
again.
done.
Minato would oblige. Sasuke would wake up to find Naruto, Sakura, and Kakashi standing over him. Naruto would ask if he's alright and offer his hand. Sasuke would take it. Kakashi advises his team to keep the partial transformation quiet, and would tell Sasuke that he's going to order him to take up training to maintain his tailed beast to ensure that he stops losing control. Sasuke refuses to answer to that. Later on, while Naruto is sleeping, he's visited by the Sound Four. They attempt to convince Naruto to leave with them, saying that they can give him the power to kill Itachi. However, Naruto refuses. They attempt to kidnap him, and there's a scuffle. They manage to knock Naruto out and begin to transport him to the base where Orochimaru is waiting. But Sakura informs everyone, and Sasuke, along with Neji, Rock Lee, and the others, attempt to rescue Naruto. While transporting him, Naruto is pacified and put into a jar to help him further awaken his power. This would be a small taste, just to hopefully entice him to join Orochimaru. The Sound Four are caught and defeated, and Naruto is free, where he already feels the strength he has achieved deep down. Seeing this, Sasuke makes a fateful decision, and leaves the village to seek Orochimaru in hopes of gaining strength. His plan? To put Konoha under. Having enough of their hatred, he plans to give it all back tenfold. Naruto's brought back to the village, where he receives medical treatment and assessment of his cursed mark. It is irreversible, it seems, just as much as the initial stage was. Naruto feels he can use this for good, however, and decides he wants to keep it anyway. He is then informed that Sasuke left the village and is now considered a missing nin. Meanwhile, Jiraiya's attempt to recruit Tsunade has failed, and she has died fighting against Orochimaru and Kabuto. The next in line is Danzo Shimura. Time skips ahead. Eventually, Shukaku regenerates and is immediately captured by the Akatsuki. Sai eventually joins Team 7. Due to Gaara having died, there is no Kazekage rescue mission, which also means the Tenchi Bridge Recon mission is a bust too. That's a good thing as well, as if Orochimaru wishes to live, he'll need to stay away from the Akatsuki, and if he wishes to use Sasuke, he can't turn him over either. They spend a long time searching for Sasuke. Word eventually reaches them that Killer Bee, the Jinchuriki of the Eight Tails, from the village hidden in the clouds, has been captured by that group, and that his tailed beast has been stripped. Fearing what it could mean that all of the tailed beasts are being captured by a single group, they begin the Akatsuki suppression arc. Most of this arc actually goes the same, as Asama would still die and Naruto would still defeat Kakazu. News then reaches the village that Sasuke has killed Orochimaru and has left the compound. What is going through Sasuke's mind right now is the power he has gained. He's also managed to awaken both stages of the Cursed Seal of Heaven, much like Naruto did, and he plans on using this ability along with the Nine Tails to unleash a devastating attack on the Leaf. Team 7 and Team 8 combine to form a search party and locate and bring Sasuke home, but they're not the only ones. The Akatsuki are there too, among them being Itachi, Naruto's brother. Itachi makes contact with Naruto and asks him if he's finally achieved the Mangekyo Sharingan yet. Naruto replies that he has not. Itachi tells him that that's a shame, and that time is now up and he and Naruto must fight. Itachi gives him a location and tells Naruto to come alone. Kabuto then offers intel on the Akatsuki to Naruto
That's good.
and others and escapes. The team returns to the village hidden in the leaves without Sasuke in tow, much to the sorrow of Team 7 and 8. At some point during the night, Naruto attempts to sneak out of the village. He's met there by Sakura, who asks if Naruto will leave too. Naruto says he won't leave the village for good, he just needs to settle things with Itachi. Sakura begs him not to go, saying that if he does, he will die. She refuses to let him go, stating that she couldn't live if Naruto died. Naruto says that if
it's
he
a
does
part of
die,
regular
she
mine.
needs to carry
They
on
just
and
added it,
makes her
remember?
promise. They share a kiss, and Naruto leaves the village. He meets Itachi at the promised location for a fight. It's rather one-sided until Naruto uses his second stage of the Cursed Seal of Heaven. However, the advantage does not last long as Itachi nullifies the seal. Naruto is then left practically defenseless against Itachi, and he cries out at him, asking him why he did what he did. Was it because he hated Naruto? Was it really because of that, or because Itachi never loved his clan? He begs for an answer, tears in his eyes, and Itachi is shaken. Itachi cannot bring himself to keep up this charade. He sits down beside Naruto and explains it all. He explains how his mission was given to him by Danzo and how the Uchiha clan was planning a coup. He tells him that it was possible that his friend Shisui could have stopped it peacefully with his Sharingan's ability Kodowa Tsukami, but that his eye was removed by Danzo, instigating the former's suicide. During this time, the strain of the battle had done a number on Itachi's body, and his illness had gotten so far that he's coughing blood. He's dying. He tells Naruto that he had such guilt, and that he hoped that Naruto would kill him to give him peace before his illness could take him, but now it's too late. He just knew that Naruto would be too soft. He says that his illness is going to kill him and offers one last piece of advice. He says that if Naruto ever does awaken the Mangekyo Sharingan, he should implant Itachi's Mangekyo Sharingan into his head to awaken the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. This way, Itachi says, Naruto will still have his big brother to protect him. Itachi then dies. Naruto cries out in sorrow and begs for Itachi to come back. He had just reclaimed his brother only to lose him again. The sorrow of this loss awakens Naruto's Mangekyo Sharingan. He would lament here for many hours, though to him it would feel like just a moment. He would then honor Itachi's request, removing his Sharingan and keeping it for himself. He would then transport Itachi home to the place the Uchiha called him. He would bury Itachi there beside his parents. He would then go and explain what had happened. He would eventually also attain the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, gaining access to Amaterasu, which he can shape and control with his other eye. He also gains access to the Susanoo on top of other abilities he had prior. He'd lost his Cursed Seal, but had gained something greater. A piece of his brother would always remain. He would also tell Kakashi what Danzo had done, and Kakashi would tell him that it was in Danzo's character to pull a stunt like that. Naruto would hate Danzo for this, not only for ordering his clan to be destroyed, but stopping Shisui from preventing it, and then forcing Itachi to do what he did, and then making Itachi shoulder the blame. But what can Naruto do? Danzo is the Hokage. There isn't much to be done, but he certainly loses all respect for Danzo, and further establishes that Naruto wishes to become the Hokage to restore his village, just to make everything the way it should have been a long time ago. Word comes in that Jiraiya has died. It's not long after that Pain arrives to destroy the village, hoping to flush out Sasuke. Naruto would be there, and he'd use his new abilities to fight against the 6 paths of pain. Using Amaterasu and Susanoo, he would manage to push these 6 paths back. After a long battle, the Six Paths are defeated, and Naruto then finds Nagato and Konan. And Nagato would, much like before, return to the light side and revive those he had killed at the expense of his own life. The Five Kage Summit would occur, and the events would remain almost exactly the same, except A, the fourth Red Kage does not lose an arm. We get the declaration of the Fourth Shinobi World War, and Danzo is killed. They attempt to stop Sasuke, but fail. Upon hearing news of Danzo's death, Kakashi would be called in and given the title of Sixth Hokage, which he would receive with a Jotaro-style yada yada daze. Having retrieved the Rinnegan, Obito would implant one into his head and prepare to accomplish the Eye of the Moon plan. Everything would go the same up until the final battle, where he would remove the tailed beast from Sasuke. Sasuke would nearly die, but is managed to be saved when Sasuke's new Sound 4 bring him to the Leaf side. The reincarnated fourth Hokage, Minato Namikaze, would implant his half of the Nine Tails into Sasuke and just barely save his life. Naruto and Sasuke would call a truce to face off against Ten Tails Jinchuriki Obito. Sasuke would use his tailed beast mode, basically calling Kurama out, which Naruto could then coat in his Susanoo. Sasuke then adds his second stage Curse Seal of Heaven, which allows Kurama to grow wings. Using his power, the two face off against Obito and manage to rip the tailed beast from him. Sasuke retakes the other half of Kurama. From there, the rest of the series actually remains the same. So in the end, everything sorta stays the same. While there are quite a few changes, all that basically happens is that Naruto and Sasuke switch powers. At least, that's what I think anyway. What do you think? How would this play out any differently? What line of events do you believe would occur? Make sure you let us know in the comments below. And be sure to like the video and subscribe to support the channel. Don't forget to ring the bell to be notified when more content like this drops. Until then, peace.
By the way, dude, I'm making our base. By the way, Josh, I'm literally making the base.
Some might believe this to be a tired concept, one that's used over and over again. But the reason why it's used so much is because it's an interesting question. What would have happened if Naruto, from the very beginning of the story, knew what was going to happen and had the power to fix it? Not long ago, I made a what if that sort of followed this line of thinking, in that Boruto traveled back in time to be with Naruto, and there things didn't work out that well, but that was because he was Boruto. Boruto did not experience any of the things Naruto had, nor did he have the wisdom of age to know how to properly alter things without ruining everything, but Naruto should have such a thing. It makes me truly wonder what could have happened if Naruto had known from the beginning what would happen and had the power to do something about it. So join me now for a video that I've been hoping to make for a while. What if Naruto was reborn with all of his memories and abilities? Welcome to the Amagi. Before we begin, only 25% of our viewers are subscribed, so if you're a fan of the video, please like.
By the way, this is not done. I still have to get rid of a lot of these trees.
With Naruto being reborn with all of his powers and abilities, something must happen as well. Kurama too must possess his abilities and memories. To do that without having to rewrite his entire history, I'm planning to use the concept of awakening or possession to explain this. In other words, Kurama continues to act as he always would, but the moment he's sealed into Naruto, Naruto's memories and abilities affect him and make him more agreeable from the start. If I didn't do this, then the title would be a lie, since Kurama at full power would count as some of Naruto's abilities. So with that out of the way, let's begin. On October 10th, Naruto is born. However, as soon as he comes out, the doctors and nurses are astounded because he does not cry. This actually causes a bit of anxiety within Minato and Kushina, who wonder why. The age-old fear all parents must worry about during birth is the fear that their child is stillborn. But the nurses and doctors offer them some peace in telling them that the child is already breathing on its own and it's awake and conscious. They bring the babe to its mother, where Kushina looks into the stark blue of its eyes and lets off a smile. To her surprise, the baby too lets off a smile and a small giggle. truly astounding. To be fair with you, even though Naruto at this point does maintain his memories, his physical and cognitive functions are still that of a baby, so I wouldn't expect him to simply murder Obito when he shows up. Wouldn't seem right. I know I said he's reborn with all of his abilities and memories, but let's be real. You don't want to see a 5-minute-old baby destroy a veteran of a world war. There's gotta be a limit somewhere. So here is that limit. When Obito does eventually come, Naruto is still helpless to stop him, and this would result in the capture of Kushina and the eventual release of the Nine Tails. During this time, Naruto is overcome with drowsiness, because birth is not only rough on the mother, but on the child as well. Minato brings the baby back to their home, where he lays it out on the bed and ensures that he's properly covered and warm, and goes to bring back his mother, which of course he does. He lays Kushina beside Naruto and allows her to cuddle and keep him safe and warm. Despite this, the baby does begin to cry. The reason being, since the memories of the past still exist within its head, even at only a subconscious level, this child knows its mother is going to die, and that brings it pain. It cries, but does not push Kushina away. It displays the need to draw closer to her, but is too feeble to move on its own. Deep down in her heart, Kushina knows what Naruto desires, so she pulls him closer to her to give him his desires and fulfill his needs. But all the same, the original events continue. Naruto witnesses his mother and father facing the Nine Tails only for them to sacrifice their lives to seal it into the child. The moment that Kurama is sealed into Naruto, it's as if all the memories of the future and everything that would ever happen to him is revealed to him all at once. Immediately, his heart is opened and his mind is calm. But a few moments earlier, Kurama had believed that this was going to be the worst fate that a tailed beast could suffer, being trapped inside the body of not just any human, but an infant. But now that he was here, some force across space and time had suddenly given him understanding, as if fate had allowed Kurama in that moment to experience a lifetime of memories in the span of a single moment. Kurama was now aware of who and what he and Naruto were. They weren't just a Jinchuriki and his prisoner, they were a dyad. They were friends. As the child cried, he witnessed the feelings in its heart, the language without words that was bred into all of humanity to speak. He heard Naruto's heart. Why did they have to die? Why couldn't I save them? He said to himself as tears rolled down his tiny cheeks. Kurama, coming closer to the energy, offering some of his chakra as a balm, would soothe the child, his heart speaking the only language that they shared. He would tell the infant not to blame himself, and while it was painful, there were some things that needed to happen, and that if they had never sacrificed themselves, Naruto and Kurama would have never
Kill the Iron Golem.
His ability to save the world would be severely hindered.
Kill it now.
Here, the child is taken by Hiruzen, who would have it raised until it could live on its own. From this point, as Naruto's cognitive functions began to increase, so too does his ability to recall everything. At about the age of 2, his memory recall was to a point that he could read his own life out like a storybook or an omnibus of shonen manga. One day, he simply awakened and possessed over 32 years worth of experience, and with that, Naruto would sigh. It's so wonderful to be a child again. Naruto continues to live his life, but as he does so, his mood is significantly happier. While it is true that the village still detests him, he continues to live happily, having already seen the ending from the beginning. So, this leaves him with a more happy-go-lucky nature. When Hiruzen comes by, Naruto is far more cordial than he'd normally be. He's kinder, more understanding, and bears a maturity unseen in a child his age.
By the way, I'm grabbing a lot of resources right now already.
But now, Naruto, having reached a certain age, realizes what is going to happen next. Naruto, at this time, is about 6 years old, about a year younger than Sasuke Uchiha. That would mean Sasuke's 7. Why does this matter? It matters because Naruto would recognize that this means the Uchiha clan downfall is about to occur. Since Naruto has a unique position here with Hiruzen, Naruto would request that he make a little time for him during his next visit. Hiruzen, being a kind man, would indulge the child, knowing that he is the closest thing Naruto has to a father figure. An absent grandfather, but he wishes to try his best and feels he owes Naruto this. When Hiruzen sits, Naruto takes a seat nearby and speaks. Lord Third, what if I told you that I knew everything that was going to happen? Hiruzen would smile, indulging the game. I would probably not believe you. Naruto nods, understanding that skepticism was a key aspect to being a shinobi. What would it take to prove it to you? Hiruzen thinks. Infallible truth. Something that can only be explained by you knowing everything. Naruto sat back and began to explain something. Lord Hiruzen, I was reborn. Hiruzen seemed confused, and Naruto continued. The spirit of Ashura had the power to reincarnate from generation to generation. but who could have guessed that it would let me reincarnate backwards in time? Hiruzen was already seeming confused. Naruto remembered that Hiruzen at this point would have no clue what he means, so he skipped this part and went straight to the point. I've been in the future, and I know what it holds. My spirit was reborn into the past to allow me to change things. Very, very soon from now, a tragedy will befall Konoha, and it will center around the Uchiha clan. Hiruzen's attention seemed to be caught by this. Naruto continued. There's a rebellion forming within the Uchiha clan. Fugaku's the head of this perceived coup. This is not because he does not love the village, but instead feels as though his clan is being persecuted for something they didn't do. The deaths of my parents and the deaths caused by the Nine Tails. How do you know this? Hiruzen asked, skeptical of the information. I know this because I've already lived through it. Very soon the Uchiha will all be murdered. Every single one of them. Not just the men, but the women and the children too. The perpetrator of this will be Itachi Uchiha. Hiruzen scoffs and smiles. Itachi? I'll admit he's a strong young man and can be capable of cold actions, but his heart is too pure. He's too kind to commit such an atrocity. Hiruzen said with such confidence, seeming almost relieved that this contradiction proved Naruto to be lying. Naruto shook his head. He will not feel he has a choice, and because of his actions on that night, the emotional turmoil, it will wreak havoc on his body and lead to an untimely death. His reason for committing this atrocity will be to save his little brother, who will become hostage in every sense but physical. Itachi will be blackmailed into doing this. If he does not do it, his little brother Sasuke will be murdered. Hiruzen's eyes seemed disturbed. Naruto was making a lot of sense, but none of this seemed to make any sense in the grand scheme of things. Was Naruto being controlled and told to tell him this? Who was attempting to manipulate him with Naruto? I think that's enough, Naruto. Tell me who told you these things. Naruto shook his head. Nobody told me these things. I already experienced them. Hiruzen would stand. Enough. What you say is impossible. He began to leave. Naruto then called out to him. Wait. Hiruzen looked back. Naruto spoke. I can see you don't believe me, and you're tired of this conversation, but I plead with you to at least listen to this last thing. Hiruzen would wait for Naruto to say his piece. Danzo Shimura is the head of Root, a secret division of the Anbu. He'll soon steal a Sharingan from Shisui Uchiha, which will lead to the latter's sacrifice, and ultimately rob you of the last chance you have of a peaceful solution. Please, stop him. Hiruzen would nod and walk out the door. Of course, Hiruzen had not believed this in the slightest. However, he did keep it in his mind for quite some time, and upon the death of Shisui Uchiha by suicide, in which he claimed to have destroyed his Sharingan to keep it out of the wrong hands, Naruto's words echoed in his mind. Hiruzen would have the Anbu gathered to him where he would confront Danzo. In doing so, he would demand Danzo remove the wrapping around his head, revealing a recently implanted Sharingan, one that contained the jutsu Kodo Amatsukami. What Naruto had said was correct. Hiruzen would have Danzo arrested and would have him stripped of his authority. He would then claim the Sharingan from Danzo and would proceed to follow through with Shisui and Itachi's secret plan and would pacify the Uchiha. After this, Hiruzen would offer to remove the Sharingan he had planted into his own head and offer it back to Itachi, claiming that it truly was a power that no single man should have. But Itachi denied this. He said that he believed Hiruzen to be the only man on Earth, besides Shisui, who was truly worthy of possessing the power of Kodo Amatsukami.
My feet fell asleep.
I was today years old when I learned M&Ms were the first candy in space, not just because Mars makes them. Their candy coating helps prevent them from melting, making them a practical snack for space travel. We're proud that Mars and M&Ms are a sweet part of space travel.
Downey showed this NFL mom a social video calling her son sweaty and stinky.
I done raised him like that. I'm going down there now.
Ooh, come on, Josh.
Downy Rinse and Refresh to help get the stink out.
By the way, dude, when you come to the base,
I need to Sealy Moisture. CeraVe hydrates up to 10 layers deep and delivers 3 essential ceramides, helping strengthen my barrier so I can defend
that's good.
daily pressers and lock in 24-hour hydration. CeraVe facial moisturizer.
Don't be shocked at how it looks.
I'm a freshman.
Agreed. I'm just gonna make it easier for us.
Sharingan as a sign of his bond with the Uchiha. But due to this, Hiruzen would realize that everything Naruto said was true. He would call Naruto back in and ask more questions, inquiring about the future. Naruto, however, kept a mostly tight lip about it. He would explain to Hiruzen something important. We're dealing with a butterfly effect, he would say. fate is like a river and tends to follow its original course, even if slight deviations are made. Too many deviations at the wrong time can lead to a different course entirely, and if this occurs, not only will my ability to know the future become useless, but it will also result in a negative outcome. Hiruzen nodded in agreement. Naruto leaned forward. There are some things that need to happen to keep things on course. I have to follow a predetermined path and work judiciously with this power if I wish to preserve peace. In that way, you're going to need to let me work my way. If you wish to help, however, I could use it. Anytime I need something and tell you it's sensitive pertaining to the future, I'll need you to trust me, okay? Hiruzen would let up a smile, his right eye still wrapped up, containing the Sharingan. Alright, that sounds like a deal. From here, Naruto's life continues down its course. He continues to go to school, where he witnesses Sasuke. However, unlike the path Naruto had originally taken, Sasuke was now a far happier child. No darkness festering in his heart. To a point, Naruto wondered what could happen by not allowing Sasuke to experience life the way he had. He worried that somehow this might lead to Sasuke not being fully prepared for the future, or perhaps worse, might lead to Sasuke falling to darkness and not being able to return. But, all things considered, Naruto had saved the lives of many Uchiha who, due to the power of Koto Amatsukami, were now fiercely loyal to their village and Hokage. Danzo having been arrested, and the truth explained to Hiruzen in a sensitive way, the Uchiha would also be forgiven by the village and allowed to settle back in their original compound. This repaired the damage done to the Leaf's relationship with the Uchiha, and caused the bonds to grow stronger, as Hiruzen vowed not to use the Koto Amatsukami again unless absolutely necessary. This made things much happier for the village, and made Naruto believe that Konoha was in safer hands than it had been previously. But still, there were some important personal things Naruto needed to do that weren't on the scale of the village. Things he needed to do for himself to keep on the proper current of time. On one winter day, Naruto decided to take a detour to the school. As he did, he witnessed a little girl being bullied. Being bullied because of the look of her eyes. This girl was Hinata Hyuga, and she was the bearer of the esteemed Dojutsu, the Byakugan. They picked on her, laughed at her, and knocked her down, but here comes Naruto. Naruto had to be careful here and act judiciously. He currently possessed enough power and chakra to shatter the entire world, but that would be overkill. He needed to channel only enough power to drive off this group of bullies who were hurting Hinata. In doing so, he needed to focus on not letting his emotions get the better of him. And so, he stepped forward to challenge the bullies, displaying enough strength to scare them off without getting hurt. After this, he would turn back and walk to Hinata. As she sat on the ground...
By the way, I found a way that we can get in and out. I made it so the base is easier for us to get in and out.
We wouldn't want your tears to freeze to your face now, would we? She looked up at Naruto, sniffling. Do you think my eyes are ugly? Naruto smiled and shook his head. No, I think they're the most beautiful eyes in the world. Hinata's eyes widened as her cheeks began to grow pink. Naruto had to be careful here. He was so madly in love with her that he wanted to compliment her all day long, but he also didn't want to mess up history and overwhelm her. Hinata was a shy and timid person. If he came on too strongly, he knew for a fact that she would probably pull away. He needed to make her feel comfortable, and so after
dude, come back to the base.
All the same, he couldn't stop watching her. So many times in class, Iruka would call him out for staring and daydreaming out the window. Naruto continued to study, though he already knew half the stuff they were trying to teach him. In fact, he actually knew 100% of the stuff they were trying to teach him. And considering that he came from a later time, he actually realized that a portion of what they were teaching in the classes was a bit inaccurate. All the same, despite this, Naruto feigned ignorance. And he pretended to be incapable of doing anything just so they would hold him back for a while. There were things that he needed to do to ensure that everything remained on track. And so, after failing the final exams again, Naruto would be approached by Mizuki. Dirty traitor, Naruto thought to himself as he watched. All the same, he knew that to catch Mizuki, he needed to allow Mizuki to incriminate himself, and to do that, Naruto would follow the same line of dialogue as before, acting disappointed in himself and going so far as to put himself down. This would lead to Mizuki proposing that Naruto steal the Scroll of Seals. Naruto would think that it's a wonderful idea, or so he would act. At night, he would sneak into the Hokage's residence, but instead of simply stealing the scroll, he would go straight to Hiruzen and inform him. He would tell Hiruzen that a Chunin named Mizuki had requisitioned him to steal the Scroll of Seals, and that he would try and take it from Naruto to deliver to Orochimaru. Hiruzen asks Naruto what they should do, and Naruto says that he should allow him to take the scroll and should give him some more time before sending the Anbu after him. He tells Hiruzen exactly where he'll lead Mizuki, but says it is important that they wait a little bit, because someone will have some growth that they will need to have in the future. Hiruzen trusts Naruto. After having saved the Uchiha clan, Hiruzen cannot help but trust Naruto. And so, Naruto takes the scroll and heads out to the location that he's already gone to. To keep from seeming sus, Naruto Naruto would indeed open the scroll and begin to read it. All things considered, Naruto had read this thing quite a few times during his time as Hokage, so he already knew what was in here. In fact, Naruto had personally added Rasen Shuriken to the scroll during his time. It was strange to see that part of the scroll blank. Part of him wanted to fill the spot here and now, but he knew that it wasn't time for that. Not yet. That was when Mizuki showed up, and just as before, he asked that Naruto give him the scroll, and just as before, Naruto does not. Iruka would show up to defend Naruto, and it's here that through tears, Iruka confesses to Naruto why he was so angry with him, why everyone was so angry with him, and acknowledges that he cannot stay hateful, that he doesn't hate Naruto. You see, Naruto had been through this before, and the greatest fear Naruto had was that his emotional response would be caught lacking due to him already having experienced it once, and is expecting to experience it again.
Dude.
Naruto's surprise
Woo!
began to form in his eyes, a feeling from long ago, something that he thought he had completely gotten over. But no, that feeling in his heart remained, and he couldn't help but cry. To recall the strength and love of Iruka, his forgiveness despite his pain, Naruto recalled that it was Iruka who had planted the seeds in his heart. It had been Iruka who had first bucked up against the endless cycle of hatred, and from Iruka, Naruto had learned to do so as well. Coming back to one's roots, it was only here, with the benefit of hindsight, that one could truly appreciate every hardship,
Alright, dude.
every moment that had crafted him into who he would become. At a certain point, Naruto felt dirty. He felt he was committing some atrocious sin by allowing himself to come back to this point and alter things. He himself, from his moment of birth to his time as Hokage, had known pain, and it was through that pain that he had become who he was. Perhaps he was saving lives, saving the Uchiha, saving Itachi, giving both he and Sasuke the lives they deserved to have. But at the same time, Naruto was removing the pain. He was removing the teachers who brought lessons to their lives. He worried that it not only would affect the future, but that it would nullify much of the growth that Sasuke had gone through, as well as disrespecting the sacrifices that Itachi had to make to get them to this point. Naruto got up and ran. It was then that the Anbu would eventually detain Mizuki and reclaim the Scroll of Seals. Iruka would survive indeed, but the air between he and Naruto had changed, and Naruto couldn't help but see the mentor he had always loved in Iruka fresh and new. After this moment, Naruto knew it was okay to continue down this path. The moment he was able to take the test again, Naruto would ace it with flying colors. It would be then that Naruto would visit Hiruzen and make a special request. For reasons that he had yet to explain, he needed Hiruzen to make a specific team for him. He needed Hiruzen to make his teammates Sasuke Uchiha and Sakura Haruno, and he needed their Jonin to be Kakashi Hatake. Knowing better than to doubt Naruto at this point, Hiruzen would grant him this wish. He would allow Naruto to join Team 7. On the day they would meet, Naruto would sit there patient and expecting. He'd forgotten that he originally started off this meeting by playing a prank on Kakashi. Despite that, he did not play a prank this time. He didn't feel it was important. He wished to see Kakashi's reaction without it. As Kakashi entered the room, he would introduce himself to them. From there, they would take their time to introduce themselves to their new Jonin and explain what it is they wanted out of life. As for Kakashi, he told them precious little. Naruto had always wondered why it was that he had done this. Why was it he had wanted to remain secretive? No, that couldn't be, could it? He had always taught them that teamwork was the most important thing, so for him to simply withhold information from them was either a test to show them that they should have unwavering faith in whoever they were teamed up with, regardless of how well they knew each other, or it was something else. That being said, he had forced them to reveal their own likes, dislikes, and dreams, so it was Naruto's opinion that the reason why Kakashi hid these things were for deeply personal reasons. He knew that Kakashi's hobbies included reading hentai, so that was likely one reason why he didn't want to share it with them. As for his likes and dislikes, he said that he did not feel like telling them about it. So if it wasn't because of secrecy, then for what reason would he not tell them? Perhaps it was because he had very few likes and his dislikes consisted of regrets from his past. Only Kakashi himself knew for sure, but to a point, Naruto was surprised, because Kakashi said he had never truly thought about his dreams. Looking at this with the benefit of the future's foresight, Naruto realized how truly lost Kakashi was. He was, at this moment, only 26 years old, and had his whole life ahead of him. He was younger than Naruto had been when he became Hokage. At this moment, despite being physically younger than Kakashi, he was still Kakashi's mental senior by 6 years. That was, unless they were going to count the extra years of his relived childhood, in which Naruto had further grown more mature, making him an extra 12 years, making him Kakashi's senior by 18. This made Naruto really want to give advice to Kakashi, but he knew the team would function better if he kept the truth about his foresight a secret. So Naruto simply allowed his team to go first, something that Naruto himself reflected on. In the past, his first time doing this, Naruto had been so eager to tell everything about himself that he had immediately gone when he had the chance. but now he was silent, desiring to hear his team's dreams first. Something that, even if he hadn't really noticed it, or was too humble to admit, displayed just how much Naruto had grown since then. For the most part, Sakura's introduction to Team 7 remained the same, and why wouldn't it?
These dishes just aren't getting clean.
Problem isn't your machine. It's likely your detergent. I recommend switching to Cascade Platinum Plus. These new products have the greatest easily removing up to 100% of tough stuck-on foods. Cascade Platinum Plus.
I earned my degree online at Southern New Hampshire University.
It's possible to raise a family, to pursue other things, and still further your education.
And you can do it too, from all over the country.
I live in Massachusetts. I live in Texas.
I live in California. I live in Pennsylvania.
I'm from Florida. I'm from Virginia.
In North Carolina. In St. Louis. From Tennessee.
And I'm from Georgia.
Regardless of where you live across the country. I'm News Breed at SNHU.
Visit snhu.edu.
Discover must-have spring dresses for $20 at Target.
By the way, Josh, I'm making us rooms.
Should you pick a relevant?
That's my job. Nature Mate. The #1 pharmacist recommended vitamin and supplement brand.
Naruto had hoped it would. Her love for Sasuke had been Sasuke's guiding light during his time when he was lost to himself, when his hatred had robbed him of identity and left him wondering who he truly was. So to hear that these sentiments did not change was something that really made Naruto smile. As for Sasuke, however, he had changed and was currently beaming a bright smile. The same kind of smile that Naruto had flashed during his time here. Sasuke's introduction was completely refabricated from the ground up. His likes were spending time with his family and training with his brother. His dislikes were bullies who picked on his friends, and his dreams were to become the head of the Konoha police force. That was something that made Naruto smile. Kakashi would turn to Naruto and ask him about himself. Naruto wanted to be honest with this, but as he thought about it, his hopes and aspirations had shifted quite a bit since he had been at this point. He introduced himself by his full name and told his comrades the things he loved. A nice warm bowl of ramen on a cold winter day, the sunrise, witnessing a sudden sundog in the sky, taking it as a god wink in his life to tell him that things were okay. His dislikes generally revolved around him failing to meet the standards that he had set for himself and that others had set for him, which resulted in himself and everyone else being let down. And finally, he spoke of his dreams. To be Hokage was the same cliche dream he'd always had, and so it remained. But further still, his dream had evolved a bit. He wished to be a husband to Hinata, and father to Boruto and Himawari. So in the end, his dream had evolved. He wished to be a man of honor and respect, someone who he could say he was proud to be when he was on his deathbed. To leave behind a life without regrets, and to leave behind a world that was slightly better than it was before he was born. Naruto smiled and then looked around to see that the entire team was staring at him in awe. Kakashi because of how mature the dream was, Sasuke because of how simple yet important it was, and Sakura because of how beautiful it was, something she did not neglect to tell him. Kakashi felt optimistic about his new team, but he still needed to see if they could grasp the most important lesson of all in regards to being
Your timer went off.
which was teamwork. To that end, he initiated the bell test. The rules were simple. Take the bells before lunchtime. No holds barred. As the test began, Naruto was sure to explain to his team the meaning of the test and its importance. He told them that they needed to work together because no one team member could defeat Kakashi alone. This was a lie. Naruto had all the power required to absolutely body Kakashi and take the bells, but that wasn't the point of this exercise. He told them that the point was that the ability to get the bells required their team to work together. And the fact that there were only 2 bells meant only 2 people could pass. This was to teach them sacrifice and selfishness. The concepts were strong and hard to learn, especially considering that the ones who failed to get the bells would be sent back to the academy without a Jonin. Such a horrible fate. Of course, Naruto knew that nobody on their team was actually in danger of that so long as they displayed that they had learned the lesson Kakashi was trying to teach them. But Naruto needed to let them believe that there was still danger, as it was that pressure that not only taught, but showed who a person was deep down. And so, Naruto held back a little and left plenty of openings for Kakashi. Not all the openings, though. Naruto would never suffer 1,000 years of death again. He was sure not to succeed early, as Kakashi still needed to teach them the lesson. Naruto fumbled as much as he could so that Kakashi would name him as the worst of his students and thus forbid him from eating lunch. Naruto sat tied to the stake. He was content, knowing that things were playing out just as they should, not just for the sake of the future, but for the sake of his friends right here and now. And just as he had believed, they would start offering him food behind Kakashi's back. This was heartfelt and touching, but also made him proud of them for choosing team over self. They knew that they could get in big trouble if they didn't do as Kakashi had commanded them. Despite this, they still did do so without the thought of themselves. This made Naruto smile. Immediately after they started feeding Naruto, Kakashi rushed out to punish them, but instead of saying anything angry at them or telling them that they had done wrong disobeying them, he instead commended them for choosing team over orders, telling them that this was the essence of teamwork, self-sacrifice. As Naruto thought on this, Naruto could
I'm gonna put signs up to
and the meaning behind why this test
to
was so
easily
important. At the end of
depict
the day, Naruto found himself standing before the monument to Konoha's heroes. There he found the name Obito Uchiha. He ran his finger across it and knew this name to be connected to so much pain. Pain in Kakashi's past, pain in Naruto's past, and pain in the world's future. Despite everything, he needed to let things run their course. In doing so, he could possibly save the world without having to permanently lose any lives. After all, Obito,
Doji.
even if he did do bad, led to things that would one day become good. All he needed to do was limit the damage he did as much as possible. As Naruto looked at the statue, Kakashi walked up to him. Do you recognize any of the names on that statue? Naruto looked back out of the corner of his eye. A few, Kakashi-sensei. These were true heroes to Konoha, weren't they? Kakashi nodded. These are they who sacrificed everything for their village, for their friends. It's no coincidence that I brought you here to perform this test. I had hoped that by bringing you here, the spirits of true heroes might bless you and give you the knowledge and understanding to learn this important lesson. Not everything is free, and sometimes you must pay a price that nobody else can pay. Sometimes the cost is your life, or in my case, the life of a friend. There is such thing as survivor's guilt. Sometimes you have to lose a friend, and you look back and ask why it couldn't have been you instead. But in the end, we all carry our burdens, and must be willing to do whatever is necessary to defend the village from harm. Naruto nodded. The will of fire. Kakashi seemed surprised that Naruto understood the meaning of the will of fire, but he didn't press. He simply likened it to Naruto being incredibly mature and wise for his age. He would put his hand around Naruto's shoulder. Come on, why don't we go out to eat? You, me, Sakura, and Sasuke, to celebrate the formation of our team. Naruto smiled. That sounds good. Naruto stood there on the bank of the little river that ran through the center of the village hidden in the leaves. Honestly, in the past, he had always hated doing this kind of work, and frankly, it hadn't been much different in the future. But this time, Naruto was not as upset as he once was, but instead grateful. After all, he had lived through one of the most dangerous times in the world, faced many threats, and oftentimes held within his heart the belief that he would die. And when it wasn't that, it was mind-numbing paperwork. Approval and disapproval of projects, requisitions for funds, and divvying up missions that came to the many teams across Konoha, having to read the description and decide which teams were optimal based on statistics and all manner of other things Naruto was half too lazy to fully learn. At this point, with everything he had gone through and was doing, this was like paradise. So simple, so safe. He was content to walk the dogs, to pick up the trash, but all the same, once more, the future demanded action, and so when he had free time, he made it to the Hokage's office. For Hiruzen, every time Naruto scheduled a meeting like this, it became stressful to him. He knew that it undoubtedly meant that something was coming, something big that either needed to change or needed to stay the same. An action he and Naruto had come to call a nexus point, a point in time where everything connected for the greater good. Despite this, Hiruzen was grateful, as it meant that they were not going to be flying blind. Naruto would help ensure that things occurred without the loss of innocent life. He would help keep them safe. Naruto sat down in a chair before the desk of the Hokage. He mused within himself that this desk had at once been
dude,
his and would
get
eventually
to
become
all
his
base.
again. Hiruzen kept a nervous smile on his lips the whole time, a conjunction of cheerful expectations and fearful assumptions. What can I do for you today, Naruto? Naruto could hear the fear in the elderly man's voice. I'm doing well, Mr. Hiruzen, and you are as well. Trust me, all I came in to say is that there's an important point coming up that I would consider a nexus, and it involves character building with my team. I wouldn't consider this in any way a danger to Konoha or you, but it's important that my team goes on it for character growth, in hopes of preparing my team for the future battles we may face. Hiruzen almost seemed to release the pressure of fear in his heart with a slow sigh that caused his shoulders to relax, giving the illusion that the man had slightly deflated into comfort. That's fine. What mission is it, Naruto? Naruto then began to explain. Either it's already happened or it'll soon make it to your desk that a certain bridge builder named Tazuna has requested a Genin team to escort him back to the Land of Waves, where he'll continue working on a bridge linking them to the mainland. Team 7 needs to be assigned this mission. Hiruzen nodded. I'll assign this mission to your team shortly. Hiruzen then leaned forward as to ask a new question. Does your team know that you possess the ability to witness the future? Naruto shook his head. Hiruzen raised a brow. Not even Kakashi Hatake. Naruto shook his head once again. I would prefer it to remain that way as well. This knowledge is being held back on a need-to-know basis. I don't want people's perception of me to change the way they act, and in turn, the way the future will unfold. If there ever comes a time when Kakashi or my team needs to know about my abilities, I'll let them know. But until then, I plan to hold this info back. Hiruzen nodded. That sounds fair. Is there anything else you'd like to speak about? Naruto looked around. I could talk with you for hours, but I'm sure you're very busy. Naruto stood to leave. Hiruzen watched him make his way to the door, and despite the fact that Naruto possessed over 30 years worth of experience, and what most would consider to be an adult mind, his body was still that of a child, and he lived alone in a village that hated him. Hiruzen called out, Naruto, tell me, how are you? Naruto looked back. What do you mean? Hiruzen rephrased the question. How are you doing right now? Naruto thought about it. I feel endowed with a glorious purpose, a chance to do the world good and set it on a good path toward a proper future. Hiruzen smiled. Sit back down. Naruto would do so. Hiruzen would then speak. I know you feel endowed with purpose, and I know you like to keep busy, but do you ever take time to relax?
Chocolate. Need hazelnut. Crispy. Need cream. Irresistibly. Bueno.
Incoming dishes! Doc, Dawn Power Wash flies through 99% of grease and grime in half the time.
It absorbs grease 5 times faster. It even replaces multiple cleaning products.
Those things got game.
Dawn Power Wash, the better grease getter.
The German Shepherd and the Yorkshire Terrier have similar color but very different coats. That's why Royal Canin developed over 60 formulas uniquely tailored to meet the needs of different breeds. Royal Canin. Unique needs. Precise nutrition.
Domino's new Parmesan stuffed crust pizza tastes like never before. Because Domino's has never had stuffed crust before. Seriously. But we do now. So get any medium 2-topping Parmesan stuffed crust pizza for $10.99 when you mix and match.
Naruto thought about it. He shook his head. No, sir. I don't generally have the time to. And even if I did, I wouldn't like it. Why is that? Hiruzen asked. Naruto thought about it. It just is. Hiruzen then decided to take a stab at it. Does it make you reflect upon the emptiness of your home? This seemed to strike Naruto. He felt a jolt of emotion fire out of his solar plexus that caused a sudden urge to cry before being quelled. I had a wife and kids in my life. Hiruzen nodded and continued to listen. Naruto thought about it. The chances of me having those 2 children were astronomical. Each one was 1 in a million, if you understand what I mean. Hiruzen nodded. Naruto looked down. I was used to spending all my time and my days with them. When I wasn't at work, I was at home, hearing them argue and play. I don't know if I'll ever see them again. Not the same kids, of course. Kids like them that might even look like them, but I don't know if that can ever be them exactly again. Hiruzen let off a smile. Despite Naruto's age, he was a worried father, fearing for the safety of his little ones that had yet to be born. Don't worry, Naruto. You told me when you first revealed this to me that fate flowed like a river, that it favored its original course unless it was specifically altered in a big way. I'm certain that if you continue down your course, you will reach the same outcome as you did during that time. Naruto let off a smile. Thanks, Mr. Hiruzen. I really needed that. As the days passed on, Naruto and Team 7 would eventually return to the Hokage for their next mission. This mission would be given to them just as Naruto had requested. They would meet with Tazuna and begin the escort mission. All the while, Naruto knew Tazuna had lied, and that this was much more than a mission to protect against bandits, but assassins too. They wouldn't be in any true danger. This Naruto knew, especially not with him and Kakashi around. But all the same, it was important to him to let the natural course of things take place, which meant he could not interfere here. He had a role to play, and like the actor he always thought he was, but never truly had been, he put on his mask of ignorance and slowly guided the situation to where it needed to be. As the Demon Brothers came out, Naruto had expected it and was totally ready for it. But he froze up purposefully to make Sasuke protect him and give him the character building he needed, all while making it look as if Naruto himself were building character. It was a bit sad to know that he was lying to them, making it look like he was weak when he wasn't. But there was a need for secrecy, as too many people knowing what would happen could spoil the situation, which is why he kept even Hiruzen mostly in the dark except for when it was necessary. Their genuine reactions were as important as Naruto's alteration of them, and so, just like in the times he once experienced, he froze. And after that, he carved into his hand a vow to never freeze again, just as he had in the past. Honestly, it was a trying task stabbing into his hand like that, and so he didn't do it as hard as before. He just merely needed to get the point across, so he settled by just drawing blood by cutting the palm of his hand instead. With that done, he would have it wrapped up, and he'd have Kurama release a burst of chakra to heal it rather quickly. With that done, they moved on until Zabuza stopped before them. Just like before, Naruto elected to step back and allow Kakashi to have his fight with Zabuza. This, of course, resulted in Kakashi being trapped in a water prison. Naruto was actually slightly relieved by this. It meant things were still on course. And so he and Sasuke would brainstorm a new strategy, one which would end up being the Demon Wind Shuriken feint. After throwing the shuriken that Naruto had transformed into, Naruto would throw a kunai back at Zabuza, which resulted in Zabuza needing to let go of the water prison. It was then that Haku would appear and seemingly kill Zabuza, though Naruto knew better. Kakashi was weakened though, and so they decided to rest at Tazuna's home, which gave Kakashi time to rest. While he rested, he had his team work on running up trees and sticking to the surface of objects with the soles of their feet. Naruto was a natural at this by now, but he wanted to feign the lack of ability to do so, because he didn't want to leave Sasuke in the dust. Sasuke, on the other hand, actually managed to pick this up rather quickly, far more quickly than he had before. Naruto surmised that this was due to Itachi not killing the Uchiha clan. This would mean that Itachi either eventually did train Sasuke, or perhaps that Sasuke simply wasn't aggressive enough at this time to result in him using too much chakra too forcefully. So this training went by far faster. Naruto would then return to the home for supper. There he was confronted by Inari. Naruto remembered his first meeting with Inari. Oh, how this brought back sweet memories. Memories he could now make all over again. Originally, he had been so angry at Inari for daring to insult the name of shinobi everywhere, but right now he couldn't help but let off a longing smile, a desire to rush the boy and hug him tightly. This was not an expression Inari didn't notice, calling Naruto a creep and a weirdo. But of course, Naruto realized how important it was to help Inari right now. Inari was to help the Land of Waves with his determination. But frankly, Naruto wanted to help the boy feel better. If Inari did nothing in the future but smile, this would be a moment worth doing. He would talk with Inari and try to help him come to terms with the death of his father, Kaiza. Inari shed many tears that night, and even Naruto, who had been through this before, shed tears. Tears at the bravery of a single man, and tears at the hole ripped open in the heart of one so innocent and pure. It filled Naruto full of righteous indignation towards Gato, and in his heart, though he had planned to do so all along, he felt that Gato would pay for what he had done. And so, the time came when they would protect the bridge. Now, Naruto was generally very punctual, but this time he feigned being sick to get them to go on without him for a while. This was at first merely so they could just let him remain here, because he knew that Gato had sent men to capture Inari and Tsunami, and Naruto knew that it was important for Inari and Tsunami to remain free, as then Inari could spread his courage and help the Land of Waves fight back. This was a very important lesson for them to learn. It would take more than Naruto and his team simply defeating Gato to save them. They would need to learn to stand up for themselves, as the moment Team 7 would leave, a vacuum would open, and another crime lord worse than Gato might fill it. And so he stayed in bed until a certain hour where he proceeded to get up. He would then step outside and wait for Gato's henchmen, where he would proceed to protect Inari and Tsunami. He would then request that Inari go and find as many people as he could and go to the bridge to finally show Gato that they won't be held back by him anymore. After this, Naruto would rush off. Upon reaching the bridge, Sakura would ask him why he's not still resting in bed, and Naruto would fib, telling her that it was just something he ate, and that he barfed earlier, got a good breakfast, and was now back in tip-top shape. This was enough to keep away any suspicions. And so, Naruto waited with cautious optimism until, as he predicted, Haku and Zabuza would show up. Now, it was at this point that Naruto made the decision not to let Haku hurt Sasuke, as he didn't wish to take the risk that something could go wrong and end up killing him. Naruto knew it would be character development if he allowed Sasuke to end up hurt, but he didn't. So he elected to protect Sasuke instead. As Haku's demonic mirroring ice crystals went up, Naruto released a lot of chakra with his Nine-Tails version 1 chakra cloak. Just enough to melt the barriers, but not enough to betray the extent of his power to anyone and make them suspicious. It was a judicial use of his power. After all, he still wanted things to go mostly to script. The only thing he wished to do was somehow save Zabuza and Haku. Both, despite their position, had the opportunity to do good and be kind to better people. Haku was already as pure as the snow that made up his clan name. He was devoted to Zabuza and would do as Zabuza wished. The issue here was in saving Zabuza. Could he save the man? In his final moments, Zabuza had been brought back to good through the power of love, Haku's love. So Naruto assumed that the only thing that could do this again would be Haku. So Naruto straddled Haku and deemed this a need-to-know case. He began to reveal to him everything that Haku had never told anybody, and began telling him of the future, telling Haku that he was the only person who could save Zabuza. Haku would be surprised at this information that Naruto seemed to have on him and would oblige the demand to help save Zabuza. But time was running out. Haku saw Kakashi preparing a Chidori and rushed to stand in the way. Naruto saw this and cursed. In a moment, his eyes turned into a mixture of frog and fox pupils, signaling that he had just entered 6th Path Sage Mode. With that extra strength, he sped forward and grabbed Kakashi's hand before he could stab through Haku. Kakashi stood there stunned, and then looked to Naruto and noticed his irises. Naruto, how did you... Zabuza would try to capitalize on this, but the moment he swung his blade, Naruto lifted his hand and caught it, letting off enough chakra to shatter it to pieces. This left Zabuza slightly defenseless, but instead of attacking, Haku turned around and pleaded with Zabuza, tears in his eyes.
This man's playing Star
He told Zabuza
Factory.
that he understood if he was just a tool, but that Zabuza needed to realize how valuable to
You're
this
playing
tool
Star
he
Factory,
was.
Dylan.
Haku loved Zabuza and saw him like the father he always wanted. He begged him not to leave. The two talked. They argued a bit, and emotions began to run deeper. Eventually, Haku convinced Zabuza to stand down, and the two reached peace with Team 7. Gato's men would appear and threaten to finish what Zabuza and Haku could not, but were surprised when Haku, Zabuza, and the entirety of the Land of Waves stood against him, and he was driven out. Because of this, the bridge was named the Great Naruto Bridge. With their newfound courage, and with the help of Zabuza and Haku, who both had decided to remain in the village to protect it, Naruto was convinced that the mission would turn out better. As they returned to their village, however, one night while they were camping, Kakashi took Naruto to the side and asked him about what happened. He told Naruto that what he had witnessed, he knew was a form of Sage Mode, and that Naruto was hiding more power than he was letting on, and he wished to understand the meaning of this. Naruto finally relented and began to explain to Kakashi the truth, telling him about being reborn and how he had memories and powers from the future. Kakashi at first did not believe this, but he told Kakashi that as soon as they got back to the village, they could go to Hiruzen's office and validate if this were true. And upon returning to the village, they did indeed validate it with Hiruzen, that Naruto did possess these future memories. Hiruzen explained that it was Naruto who had led to the Uchiha being spared, and how everything he had said would occur had occurred in just the way he said it would. Kakashi asked why it was that Naruto had hidden such an important thing from them, and he simply said it was because he didn't want to throw off too much by altering the course of history. He merely wanted to change some very important aspects to make an even better outcome. To that end, Naruto mentioned to Hiruzen that he and Team 7 needed to be in the Chunin exams coming up, because it was at this time that something very big was supposed to happen in the village that could change everything. And Naruto needed to scout out how much would be the same and how much could change. And so, with Kakashi's blessing, Hiruzen approved of it. The team would go and sign up for the Chunin exams, and eventually the time came that the exams would begin. Naruto breezed through the first test for the simple fact that he had experienced it before. Being Hokage, he was now capable of answering some of the questions. Not all of them, though, which made Naruto feel a little bad. As Hokage, he should know most of this stuff, but realized just how often he relied upon his gut for this. But in the end, the only thing that mattered was that he said yes to the final question. This ensured that he and his team passed easy peasy. Moving on further, they would begin in the Forest of Death. Here they would search out another team. Naruto recognized that Gaara and his siblings were here. He wondered where Rasa was, if he was even still alive. Upon coming into contact with Shiore, who revealed herself to be Orochimaru in disguise, Naruto realized that the same course of actions might have been taking place. Naruto managed to stop Sasuke from receiving the Cursed Seal of Heaven, and together they drove off Orochimaru before finding their final scroll and making it out. All the while, Naruto was a bit perplexed by Orochimaru's presence. He assumed that Orochimaru would not come for Sasuke since there were so many Uchiha out there that he could take from, but for some reason he was still after Sasuke and was still here to cause mayhem. So after the Forest of Death and the first round of the exhibition matches, Naruto reported back to Hiruzen. He would tell Hiruzen that Orochimaru was indeed here, and that this meant that there would soon be a terrorist attack on the Leaf, utilizing Gaara of the Hidden Sand, and that Orochimaru would need to come for Hiruzen in an attempt to kill his master. This disturbed Hiruzen, who would consider having Gaara arrested. Naruto would tell him not to, however, as it was important that Gaara be given a chance, as what happened here would be a massive world-altering event which would eventually play out for the better, and that what was important was setting up defenses to deal with Manda, as well as anything else Orochimaru sent at them in an attempt to save as many civilian lives as possible. Naruto then mentioned to Hiruzen that in the end he would need to fight Orochimaru. Hiruzen asked how that turned out in the future. Naruto told him that originally Orochimaru had just barely survived and that Hiruzen had perished, but he believed that with the Sharingan, Hiruzen now stood a chance against Orochimaru and could likely come out on top. Hiruzen nodded. Naruto finally mentioned that Jiraiya was in the village and that Naruto needed to go recruit him and hopefully train with him. Hiruzen asked him why he would need to do that if he already possessed all of his powers and memories from the future, and Naruto simply stated that this was both for the village, but primarily for himself. When asked why, Naruto simply said, "It's important to me that the bond I once had with my master return. If I didn't try to cultivate that again with him, I'd regret it forever. It's very important to me." And so he let Naruto have this. Naruto would leave and find Jiraiya outside of the women's bathhouse as he had originally, something that would bring a smile to his face. He would sneak up on Jiraiya and startle him. At first, Jiraiya didn't seem as interested to take him on as an apprentice, but upon revealing himself as the son of Minato, the Nine-Tailed Jinchuriki, and showing him his sexy jutsu, a jutsu he hadn't used in years, he would begin to be taught as Jiraiya's apprentice. Jiraiya would go about teaching him the same way he had previously. Naruto knew all this stuff already, but he pretended not to be very good at it so as to be able to spend more time with Jiraiya. To be frank, this moment was one of the most stressful he ever faced. He knew that if he screwed up, Jiraiya would be gone from his life forever. He had been given a second chance, and he didn't wish to mess it up. And so, for weeks, he struggled to learn something he already knew, training tirelessly, or what used to be tirelessly, just to make it look like Jiraiya was truly strengthening him. But all the same, Jiraiya seemed suspicious when his training didn't even leave Naruto out of breath, let alone sweaty. But still, the two continued to train. Eventually, when the final rounds came, Naruto was faced up against Neji, and the two did battle. Naruto could easily smoke Neji at this point, but he simply chose to make it look like a closer battle for Neji's sake. In the end, he beat him, just as Sasuke, in the end, was to beat
Dude,
Naruto
come back to
when
the
he chose
base.
to run away. Kabuto attempted to cast them all under Genjutsu, but failed to catch Sasuke, Sakura, and Naruto, who would go chase Gaara. All the while, Hiruzen began his battle against Orochimaru. This battle led them to the roof where a barrier was put up. Hiruzen would activate his Sharingan and prepare for battle, but to his surprise, Orochimaru did as well. Orochimaru possessed a set of Sharingan, and then he proceeded to shift them into Mangekyo Sharingan, going so far as to even acquire a Susanoo. This battle was over fairly quickly. Orochimaru's Susanoo, as well as his Edo Tensei, would overwhelm Hiruzen quickly. Just as before, Hiruzen would attempt to seal away Orochimaru with the Reaper Death Seal. This was again only partially successful, leading to Orochimaru escaping but still having his arms sealed away. Naruto, Sasuke, and
It's the Dogoku phase, so you should see it.
Shukaku and Naruto releasing Kurama. Together, the two did battle, and Naruto managed to wake up Gaara, causing Shukaku to return within his seal. Naruto would then come to Gaara's side as he woke up and attempt to relate to him. He told him the same thing that he had told him before, about how he was abused for being the Nine-Tailed Jinchuriki, and that he understood what Gaara was going through, but that Gaara could change, and that he didn't need to be ruled by his hatred. He told him to let it go and consider a new future, one where there was peace. He then let Gaara go. He would return to Konoha with Sakura and Sasuke, only to come to the realization that Hiruzen had been killed. The funeral was short. Naruto saw the tears in Konohamaru's eyes, and it caused his own to overrun. How could this happen? Naruto was certain that he had altered enough to protect Hiruzen from Orochimaru, but it was true. Fate was preferring the course that it had originally gone down. What was this? Some punishment from fate? Was he being punished for attempting to alter the natural flow of destiny? He had failed to save Hiruzen. He had wanted to save everyone, but he failed. All that day, Naruto sat at the edge of his bed, looking out the window, reflecting upon his own failures. He'd been given a chance to save everyone and make the world exactly as it should be, but instead, he'd miscalculated, and it resulted in the death of someone Naruto saw as a grandfather. This was a massive blow to Naruto's confidence, but he managed not to lose sight of his mission. He would then link up with Jiraiya, who'd be sent out to recruit Tsunade to be the 5th Hokage. While they left, they'd be hunted by Kisame Hoshigaki. But as Kisame caught up with them, Itachi would appear to protect them, facing Kisame himself and pushing him back. Naruto marveled at this. The flow of fate remained the same, but now the actors had changed. It was no longer Might Guy here to protect Naruto, but Itachi. It's as if Kisame and Itachi's destinies were so intertwined that they could not be undone, even with such differences as they had created. Naruto saw this as more than just a nexus. Destiny had tied these two together. This he called a temporal fact, a fixed point, an anchor of fate. Jiraiya and Naruto would continue on their way towards Tsunade's location. He would continue teaching Naruto the Rasengan, and Naruto would continue to fail it purposefully, because despite having already learned it, he needed to make an effort not to look suspicious. And so, together, the two of them would meet with Tsunade, and discover that she was planning to go after Orochimaru. Jiraiya feared that she might be joining him to heal his arms, but Naruto knew better. They would follow her to the meeting place only to see her fighting against both Kabuto and Orochimaru. They'd begin to help her. Naruto knew that at this point he could body both Orochimaru and Kabuto, and despite how badly Naruto wanted to kill them for killing Hiruzen, he knew that he couldn't. Orochimaru would be useful in the future when he turned a new leaf, no pun intended. So he ensured that the battle followed its destined script, which led to their victory and Orochimaru fleeing the scene. With Tsunade in tow, they would return to Konoha, where she would become the next Hokage. Now, because Itachi had never killed the Uchiha, Sasuke never felt the need to grow stronger via taking drastic measures. All the same, Naruto knew that Sasuke would still need to grow stronger, so he asked Jiraiya if he could bring Sasuke along with them while they trained, and Jiraiya would agree to this. And so the three of them would go off on their way to train. Naruto knew that he would need to probably hold back a little to make things fair.
I'm gonna make a
He was
towel.
content that things were going according to plan. Lives were being saved, and his bond with Jiraiya was growing yet again. All they had to do now was grow strong enough to face the future. Naruto sat on the porch outside Jiraiya's home, watching his mentor and his best friend train their hardest. As they did so, Naruto felt a hollow feeling in his heart. He was here, training, yet it felt more like he was going through the motions. It felt as if he were wasting Jiraiya's time he had so precious little of. That's why he prioritized Jiraiya's training of Sasuke. Even now, Sasuke was practicing the Rasengan. It was the parent technique of the Chidori. As Naruto thought about it, he realized what Kakashi had been going for. He was attempting to make an electrified version of the Rasen Shuriken, but the issue with that was that Kakashi did not have the control or chakra well to truly complete the technique. Naruto was hoping that Sasuke would be able to complete it, which was why he wished to let Sasuke train as much as he could. But at the same time, he worried that Jiraiya was taking this as disinterest, which ultimately could damage their relationship. The mere pressure on Naruto, the thought that he could fail, weighed heavy upon his heart. He watched Sasuke holding the water balloon, attempting to pop it. Naruto had once been where Sasuke is now. As Sasuke continued with this, Jiraiya believed that Sasuke needed no further instruction until he completed his task. He walked over to Naruto and sat down beside him. "Why aren't you training with us? I can handle 2 students at the same time, you know." Naruto held up his hand. "I'm too ignorant. I couldn't master it at this speed. I don't want to take away from Sasuke's training." Jiraiya sat there and sighed. "You already know how to do it, don't you?" Naruto was shocked. "What? No." Jiraiya looked over at him with eyes full of wisdom and knowledge. "You do. The way you carry yourself is unlike any other child or genin I've ever known. You carry yourself like an old man, controlled, reserved, and purposefully hiding things that others shouldn't know, and I'm trying to figure out what those things are." Naruto sat there for a moment. "With all due respect, Master, but isn't it a shinobi's job to hide things from people?" Jiraiya nodded. "Indeed it is, and it's a shinobi's job to discover the secrets people are hiding," he said as his eyes now displayed a spark of determination glowing deep within. "You know the Rasengan. This much I know. You don't seem to have any issue controlling the Nine Tails either. Your failures at Sage Mode are forced. So much of our training feels like an act, a show. So it begs the question, if you're not here to train, what are the things you've come to do?" Naruto looked back out at Sasuke. "Master, there are things that I can't tell anyone. Very few people can ever know. The lives of millions are at stake. I need to be here. I need to be home with my godfather." Jiraiya sat forward. "Naruto, are you in trouble? I know the Akatsuki are chasing you, but I don't see them as being much of a threat until they get a tailed beast. And even then, that would only put them on the world's radar. And a country with a stronger beast would simply destroy them. So what are you running from?" Naruto stood there. "You don't truly comprehend the reach of the Akatsuki, Master, nor the forces that stand behind them. But you do," Jiraiya said.
I graduated from Southern New Hampshire University. I said I would go back to school when I had time.
Dude, go to
I
sleep.
spoke to an admissions counselor. We applied right then and there.
That's when the journey really begins.
Going through the program, having the support that I had really helped me understand what I can accomplish.
And I learned this just by taking classes at night while working a full-time job.
The resources at SNHU were incredible.
I think if I was back at the beginning, I would choose SNHU all over again.
Mopping is hard work. Then I tried the Swiffer Power Mop. It has a built-in solution that breaks down dirt on contact. Plus, it's 360-degree slope.
I'm gonna do something real quick.
Boards and even behind a toilet. Bye-bye, bucket. With the Swiffer Power Mop. The secret is
Dope. Who? QSO. Where? Me.
Sister's birthday. She's
Damn
an
it.
adult. Please help me. I'm so lost. Gotcha. Follow me.
Dope. Who?
I
I knew it.
Kurosawa, where? To
Thank
me.
you, Rick.
Dude, I can't teleport you to me.
You have quite a bit of information for someone so young. More information on them than even I have, and I've devoted many years to studying and tracking them. How is it that you know more than me? Naruto took a deep breath. He didn't like where this line of thought was going. Jiraiya was digging in too deep, and Naruto was letting him. Naruto couldn't say no to Jiraiya, but the illogical assumptions this man was making based on the little knowledge he had was... But what was Naruto to expect? He read the tale of the utterly gutsy shinobi, and in his later years, with Hinata's blessing, he read the Icha Icha novels. While the latter held less plot, he could witness the inner workings of Jiraiya's mind. Jiraiya was a natural novelist, and it seemed he bore the capability to sense the flow of the plot. And considering that fate read out the lives of human beings like books, this gave Jiraiya some context into what was happening and what might happen. And right now, Jiraiya was sensing a plot device. Things that didn't make sense, and the wizened man knew that life was too consistent to contain plot holes. Naruto, I can't force you to tell me anything, and I don't think you're the kind to do things with a reason. You have... Naruto? Naruto looked over at Jiraiya. Jiraiya sat there looking at him. Naruto, were you crying? Naruto was shocked by the question. He raised a hand to his cheek and felt a single bead of water roll down. He was crying. Why? Jiraiya turned to face him, and even to this point, Sasuke's gaze was starting to draw curiously toward them. Jiraiya nodded. He stood and put his hand on Naruto's back and began to lead him inside, faking a laugh to force Sasuke's suspicions away. Once they were inside, Jiraiya sat Naruto down. Naruto, you need to tell me what's going on. I can help you, but you need to trust me. Naruto sat there as more tears appeared on his emotionless face. Master, there are things you can't know. There are things only I can bear. Jiraiya shook his head. Naruto, you assume that's true, but it's not. You need to tell others. Naruto looked down to the tatami flooring. No, Master. Only I can know this, because only I can avert it. If I tell others, it takes what little power I have out of my hands and spreads it too thin to do anything, and will merely cascade into a waterfall of missteps that'll result in a worse outcome for everyone. Jiraiya drew a bit closer. Not true. I merely wish to support you. You've been different for the past few months. You're different from the boy I met in front of the bathhouse. Naruto looked down. Master, something happened, and it was my fault. I failed to do something. I was so confident in myself that I didn't think it was possible that I made a miscalculation, and someone I loved very much died. I got them killed. Who was it? Jiraiya asked. Naruto shook his head. It was Hiruzen, wasn't it? Jiraiya said. Naruto began to break down as he nodded his head. I swore to make a better world, and I let Lord Third die. I didn't anticipate Orochimaru having Sharingan. Mangekyo, no less. Hiruzen didn't stand a chance. Jiraiya sat forward. How would you have anticipated Orochimaru having Sharingan? How did you anticipate his attack at all? Naruto was silent as he continued to cry. Jiraiya then spoke. You've seen this all before, haven't you? Time travel? Did you return from the future? Naruto shook his head. Reverse reincarnation. Jiraiya nodded. You were reborn with all of your memories. Naruto nodded. And abilities. I didn't come here to train because I needed to grow stronger. Then why did you come here to train? Jiraiya asked. Naruto's crying sped up as he wiped his tears. I wanted to train so I could get back my friendship with you. In my last life, you were my best friend. More than a mentor, you were like a father to me. And when you were Naruto stopped. When I was killed,
Okay.
Jiraiya attempted to finish the sentence. Naruto looked up, his eyes shining like glass. When you were killed, I thought I lost everything. You were the only one I knew that made me feel accepted and loved. Not like Kakashi does. He loves me, but differently. You became my papa, just like how Hiruzen became my grandpa. And I lost you both. Then, upon backwards reincarnation, I got the chance to be with you two again, and I just wanted to fix it so you wouldn't die ever again. But fate keeps reverting back to its original course. Mr. Hiruzen is dead now because of that. Despite my knowledge and everything I've tried, Hiruzen still died. I don't want to lose you again, Master. I don't want to lose you again. Naruto fell into Jiraiya's embrace. Jiraiya pulled him in and wrapped his whole body around his apprentice to comfort his inconsolable heart. Naruto, you won't lose me. Not again. Don't be afraid. Naruto continued to cry. Standing in the doorway was Sasuke,
That's good.
watching on with concern on his face. Jiraiya looked up at him, unaware that he'd been there. How long have you been standing there, Sasuke? How much did you hear? A little bit, he said with his mind attempting to process everything. Jiraiya felt Naruto tense up in his arms. Reverse reincarnation. Is that why you act weird before something big happens? I always thought you were like psychic, or like dogs who can sense earthquakes before they happen, but that's not it, is it? You've actually experienced the future. Naruto let out a quiet yet high-pitched squeal of terror and frustration as his head was hidden. Now, Sasuke, Naruto has his reasons for these things. You can't blame him. He's trying to protect the world and make it better, which he assumed would be impossible to accurately do if too many people knew about it. Sasuke nodded. Yes, but you could have told us. Who all knows? Naruto sat up and thought about it. Hiruzen, Kakashi, possibly Tsunade now, Jiraiya, and you. Sasuke thought about it. If you knew this stuff was going to happen, why did you let it? Like the attack on Konoha. People died, Naruto. Why didn't you mention it? I did. To Hiruzen. I needed him to not do anything about it, though. There was someone very important who would need the experience so the future could unfold properly. But all I did was get Hiruzen killed. I didn't calculate it right. Sasuke nodded. I understand. But now you have us. We can bounce ideas off each other and we can offer insight. I'm afraid that if your reactions aren't genuine, it'll affect the future. Jiraiya scoffed his way into a chuckle. That's like saying that if your reactions aren't genuine, it'll affect the future, Naruto. Your reactions don't seem to change anything, so why would ours? Naruto thought about it. Jiraiya continued. And if we know the stakes, perhaps we can change things for the better, alright? So fill us in about everything. Tell us everything that'll happen. Spoil the whole plot for us, and see if we can help you write a better ending. Naruto and Sasuke trained for quite some time with Jiraiya. Thankfully, nothing big was planned to happen for 2.5 years, so Jiraiya and Sasuke helped Naruto plan, and then told him to just calm down and relax. Since he still had all of his strength from training, he really just focused on maintenance training, all while Sasuke attempted to catch up. He managed to learn the Rasengan and Jiraiya's Toad Summoning, even going so far as to learn and master Sage Mode. But as always, these happy days do not last, and the time comes where Naruto realizes that he must return to Konoha and prepare for the next big event. And so he proceeds to return with Sasuke and Jiraiya in tow. Upon returning to the village, Naruto heads straight for the office of the Hokage where Tsunade is waiting. She greets them both. Jiraiya and Sasuke allow Naruto to take the lead here. Naruto walks over and asks if he can have a seat. Tsunade tells him that he may. Do you know about me? Tsunade looks at him for a time. Know about you? Naruto nods. Did Hiruzen leave any records of me and what I can do? Tsunade smiles. He did. And these facts were corroborated by Kakashi. One of the last things Hiruzen left was a letter for any prospective new Hokage. He said that there was a chance that he'd be killed during the Chunin exams by Orochimaru as per the prediction of Naruto Uzumaki. He said that he hoped the letter would never see the light of day, but that it was important that he do something to help Naruto convince the next Hokage of his abilities should the worst come to pass. Kakashi confirmed and explained the bits that I didn't understand from Hiruzen to me. Naruto nodded. Then you understand what my mission is here in the village. I'm here to inform you that either right now or at some point in the very near future, Gaara will be kidnapped by the Akatsuki. 2 members named Deidara and Sasori. They'll attempt to steal the tailed beast from the Kazekage. You will have planned to send Team Kakashi along with Team Guy to save him, but will be too late, and he'll need to be revived via a technique from Chiyo, and that'll result in the demise of Chiyo and the revival of Gaara. I wish to get a step up on this and attempt to save him now. Tsunade nodded and sat back. Indeed. Rumors have been flying, but we've yet to receive a formal request. Sending you now to fulfill an unsanctioned mission in the Land of Wind will cause distrust between the Sand and Leaf. Naruto understood this point of view. After all, he too was Hokage at some point, but he knew it was important to act now, and that if he didn't, Chiyo's death would be set in stone. Gaara's the leader of the Sand, and if we play it off as us attempting to help, it actually might draw us closer. Tsunade thought about it. I know what you're attempting, Naruto, but you're playing a dangerous game. You're risking a lot for one person. I know that's callous of me to say, but if saving one life, a very old life at that, one that died with meaning in your timeline, brings possible death to millions, do you really think that this is a good idea? Naruto thought about it. I understand your point. He looked around, but it would also put one less tailed beast into the Akatsuki's hands. It would slow down their Eye of the Moon plan considerably. Tsunade looked up. Eye of the Moon plan? It was at this moment he knew he screwed up. Did I didn't say that. Tsunade sighed. Did he tell you about this stuff, Jiraiya? Jiraiya laughed a little bit. Yeah, he's told me everything, Tsunade. Hiruzen trusted his judgment, and so do I. Hiruzen's dead, Jiraiya. Naruto looked down, obviously still sore about that. Jiraiya waved his hand down at her to calm her.
I was today years old when I learned Mars and Shiba are pioneers in reef restoration. Mars makes Shiba, and since 2011 has planted 1.3 million corals across 72 sites, helping fish populations rise more than 900%.
By the way, dude,
He's been through a lot.
look for the most like outrageous base.
It's okay. You're safe here. Come on. No hurry. Love begins with trust. I'm not going anywhere. That's why I gotta see her.
By the way, Josh, if you're wondering why my base is why the base is looking really like weird, it's because I'm expanding it.
Sometimes you just need a moment. Self-care has never been this easy. Gummy vitamins from Nature Made. The #1 pharmacist recommended vitamin and supplement brand.
Yes, but Naruto was acting alone that time. This time he has me and Sasuke to bounce ideas off of. Tsunade shook her head. So he's getting advice from a horny man-child and an edgy stereotype. That makes me feel tons better. Just trust us here, Sue, Jiraiya insisted. Tsunade then took a deep breath, then let it out with a sigh. Fine. If this is the way you wish to play it, then go for it. But if the world ends, I'm holding you both personally responsible for it. She took out a pen and paper and began to write up her approval for the mission. This mission is off the records until such a time as we are requested. Naruto nodded as he took the paper. He stood and prepared to leave, but stopped. Also, don't send Jiraiya to Amigakure to spy it out. I'm gonna tell you now, that's where the Akatsuki are hiding their main base. We'll come up with a plan when I get back. Naruto left, leaving Tsunade dumbfounded. The trio then left the office where they met with Kakashi and Sakura. At this time, Naruto met with Kakashi secretly and told him that Jiraiya and Sasuke knew everything. Kakashi then nodded and looked to Sakura. Should we inform her of what's going on? It would seem a bit unfair to leave her in the dark, considering she's probably smarter than all of us. Naruto nodded in agreement. It would be a good idea, yes. And so they caught Sakura up to speed about this. She was shocked, but she seemed to take it well, believing in and saying that things made a lot more sense now. After this, Naruto informed them of their next mission, and the group began making.
By the way, I'm upgrading your Windows area.
They were making great time. Eventually, as they were headed toward the hideout, they spotted a group of shinobi making their way back to the village. Among them was Kankuro, who had been wounded and was barely making it. The group seemed to become defensive, wondering what Konoha shinobi were doing in their nation. Naruto told them that Konoha had been requisitioned to help in locating the Kazekage. Kankuro said that he never recalled sending any message to Konoha. Naruto pointed to his wound. Well, no wonder. It looks like you've been poisoned. He looked to Sakura and asked her to begin the process of healing him. And she did so, managing to nullify the poison and crafting an antidote. Naruto told them to get Kankuro back to the village and that they would continue looking for Gaara. The Suna ninja thought this was
But also, I'm giving you a special room,
Together, the team
which is
managed to
off
get where Gaara was
of,
being held.
you know,
They managed to bring the force field
which
down.
is a part of the
Within it, they
base.
found the Akatsuki, beginning the ritual to remove the tailed beast, but they managed to stop them before it began in earnest. Naruto began to command them. Sakura, Sasuke, take Sasori. Naruto then turned to Kakashi. Keep your Kamui ready. We need to handle Datara. Kakashi nodded. As the group began to fight, Naruto stayed on the attack, utilizing his Kurama Chakra mode to attack Datara, all while Kakashi stayed in the back to ensure that Datara couldn't escape. Sasuke and Sakura were facing Sasori when they managed to break through his shell and reveal the real him. He attempted to summon a group of puppets. Sasuke had already learned of this guy from Naruto, so he turned to Sakura. I hate to ask you this, but I'm going to need you to make me a path through with your strength of 100 seal. Once you've broken through them, I'll rush with my Chidori and go for the killing blow. Sakura nodded. You got it. Sakura activated her seal and began to face the performance of 100 puppets. She knew she didn't need to destroy them all. All she needed to do was move with strength and speed and burst through as many as possible right in front of her. As she began, Sasuke began charging his Chidori, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. As Sakura made her way through, she told Sasuke to go. Before the pathway could close up, Sasuke had already threaded the needle. Sasori attempted to close up the pathway at the end to block Sasuke's advance, but found his puppets further destroyed by Sakura, who opened up the path again. Sasuke pushed through, and before Sasori could do anything, Sasuke
yeah.
punctured his heart. Sasuke
He's
pulled
been
out
in
his
the
hand,
call.
feeling splinters inside. He shook his hand, a little weirded out by how much blood there had been within the puppet. He looked over to see Naruto pushing Deidara back. Naruto attempted to capture him, but instead Deidara decided that he would rather leave behind an impressive crater than be taken hostage. So he activated his C0. He opened the stitches on his mouth and chest and began to feed it explosive clay. Naruto was a little shocked by this. Frankly, he did not expect it. He didn't actually know about this technique. He never asked Sasuke how Deidara died, only realizing that Sasuke had killed him in his search for Itachi. Deidara began to laugh maniacally.
A true artist suffers for their art. Art is born in the heart, it flows through the veins, and it's released in a vibrant explosion. I will be the most well-remembered artist in the world! You're friggin' crazy, Naruto shouted.
Deidara laughed.
All the best artists are. You should feel blessed. You'll become part of my art. An explosion that will cover 10 kilometers, farther than you could ever hope to run. Make your peace with God, gentlemen, and prepare to be immortalized with me, as the one who killed the Kazekage and left a permanent scar on the land of wind.
The darkness in Deidara's veins continued to expand as it seemed his body was slowly pulled into the mass of clay. All that remained was a tiny, dark orb.
Oh no, what have I done? I miscalculated,
Naruto shouted. As the orb began to crack, light started to emit from within. Naruto closed his eyes in preparation for the end. Then, suddenly, nothing. Naruto opened his eyes to see that nothing had happened. What? He looked back and saw Kakashi standing there, panting, his Mangekyo Sharingan bleeding ever so slightly. Naruto realized what had happened.
Oh.
Naruto ran to Kakashi and hugged him.
Kakashi-sensei coming in clutch.
Gaara was speechless. Naruto walked over to him.
It's good to see you again, Gaara.
After returning to the village with him, Naruto knew that any suspicions that could have been floating around would eventually be quelled by Gaara. They would return to Konoha to inform Tsunade of the events that transpired. Tsunade would seem rather pleased with them, but now that they had returned, they needed to decide what to do with the Akatsuki.
Dude,
They began to plan it out.
you know that base that I was working on?
Too dangerous just to straight up attack Ame at this point. He says that they're very dangerous, and that even if they sent elite shinobi in, it would still be a bloodbath. They need to take this moment to isolate certain members and attack them. He said that in this timeline, they managed to isolate and kill Hidan and Kakuzu, but it cost Asuma Sarutobi his life. Naruto states that because of this, he requests that Asuma be removed from the battle, and that Naruto be used as the tip of the spear since he's got all the power to flat out smoke those two. And so they allow Naruto to do this. Itachi is sent with Naruto along with Sasuke, Sakura, and Kakashi. They wait for their targets to arrive, and upon the appearance of Hidan and Kakuzu, they spring the trap. Itachi steps out with Sasuke to strike down Hidan, and Naruto, Sakura, and Kakashi face Kakuzu, who possesses many hearts, each of which he can turn into a weapon to stand against them. Naruto, in his six-path sage mode, could foderize Kakuzu, and to a point he does. All the while, Hidan faces Sasuke and Itachi in battle.
By the way, we have natural disasters on here, so we have to be careful.
And his ability to just shrug off their attacks. He uses this confusion to get a hit in on them. After drawing blood from his victims, he takes on a more sinister appearance. He licks Sasuke's blood and attempts to strike himself with a rod. This causes bodily harm to Sasuke. Sasuke coughs up blood and falls to his knees. Itachi would understand this technique quickly. Hidan seems to draw his power from the occult. Upon noticing the symbol on the ground, Itachi realizes he must deal with that. To be frank, his guess was only half correct, as he believed he needed to destroy the circle, when in actuality, all he really needed to do was push Hidan off of it. But it was a good first assumption, worthy of Itachi's intelligence. Pushing Hidan off of the circle, he erases it. He then begins to go on the offensive as Sasuke sticks back to tend to his wounds. Sakura rushes over to Sasuke to begin healing, while Itachi continues to do battle, using his Susanoo. Sasuke stands. I gotta help. But before he can enter the fray again, Hidan licks more blood from his scythe and creates another circle. It's this that stops Itachi from delivering the fatal blow. I don't care about me. We need to defeat them if we're going to save the world. Itachi knows this, but he can't bring himself to do it. Sasuke charged with his Chidori. I'm sorry, Naruto, but Itachi, he'll be a better help to you than I will. He plunged his hand through Hidan's heart, but to Sasuke's surprise, he didn't take any damage. Itachi's Susanoo faded as Itachi fell to the ground, coughing up blood. Itachi! Naruto and the others looked back to see what happened. In anger, Sasuke used all of his strength to push Hidan from the circle. He then took Hidan's own weapon and used it to behead him. He would mutilate Hidan beyond recognition before rushing to Itachi's side. But it was supposed to be me, Sasuke shouted. Naruto knelt down. Why? Why did this happen? This was just so unlucky. Naruto looked down. Once again, the hands of fate demanded that history play out how it originally had. It was bouncing back, demanding that Naruto stop altering things. Itachi perished there in Sasuke's arms. Sasuke was emotionally scarred from this and seemed to almost pull away. He had originally been on board with the idea of changing things, but now he wasn't so sure. He didn't want to keep losing things. Sasuke pulled back. Naruto attempted to talk with him, but Sasuke refused. No, I don't want to talk about it. We've been trying to do good, but this happened. We're attempting to change so much that I'm afraid it's going to destroy everything I love. The Sasuke in your world may have lost his brother too, but you stopped that. I'm not that Sasuke anymore, Naruto. I never was. You ensured that, but I'm still losing my brother, and I'm afraid I'll lose a whole lot more if we keep changing things. I'm done. Don't tell me to change anything anymore. Don't involve me in this anymore. Sasuke, you can't. I need you. And if you don't at least play your original scripted part, the world will suffer. Life isn't a movie, Naruto, Sasuke called out. You can't rewrite the script. I'm a free person with feelings and emotions, a life. You're playing God and attempting to mess with fate. It's gonna bite us all. Stop. Leave me out of this. From there, Sasuke left Team 7, giving Kakashi his official resignation. Sasuke left being a shinobi altogether and moved on to the Konoha police force, leaving Naruto alone to fix it. As he sat on a bench, Naruto felt as if the world was coming to an end. It was then that Jiraiya approached him with a popsicle. Jiraiya always seemed to sense when things were going wrong. What is it, Naruto? Naruto sat down and sighed before turning his gaze back up at his mentor. Sasuke laughed. He's not even a shinobi anymore. Do you know how much that changes things? Without Sasuke, the world would come to an end. I knew it was a mistake telling others about this. Jiraiya shook his head.
I graduated from Southern New Hampshire University. I always said I would go back to school when I had time. I went on our website, I spoke to an admissions counselor, and we applied right then and there.
That's when the journey really begins.
Going through the program, having the support that I had, really helped me understand what I can accomplish.
And I learned this just by taking classes at night while working a full-time job.
Resources at SNHU are incredible.
That's good.
I think if I was back at the beginning, I would choose SNHU all over again.
Okay, go spill the tea.
By the way, Dylan, if you want to know where my base is, it's on a mushroom in a dark oak forest.
Confused?
Good.
Maybe you just need a Snickers pecan. Bounty Mega Roll lasts longer, so you can tackle.
No, it's an alarm.
Bounty Mega Roll lets you clean spills without running out. Bounty.
Watch out!
No, Naruto. There was
Come on, dude.
well, but I think it's time for us to face reality. Fate doesn't like it when we interfere with its natural flow. I think we need to accept
Yeah.
the stuff that happened was destined to happen, and we shouldn't try to change that. Trust me, as a writer, the more you attempt to change the ending, the worse things play out. Naruto shook his head. But I don't want to lose you. Jiraiya offered a kind smile to the lad whose eyes were now overflowing with tears. You can never lose me, even if I die. Everyone dies eventually, Naruto. And if my time comes before yours, that doesn't mean I no longer exist, nor does it mean I don't love you anymore. It simply means that I've moved on to another place. You need to find solace in this and attempt to bring things back on track. And I think that the last thing we should do is go into Ame and attempt to stop the Akatsuki. When we do this, you should consider focusing on making history happen as it was always meant to, okay? Naruto sat there. How can I? How can I go on knowing that those I love will perish and I can't stop it? Jiraiya looked up into the sky. You know, when we go to Ame, we will likely kill Nagato. For years I trained him. I loved him then as much as I love you now. I am going to kill him and I'm dying inside because of it. But I know that that's what's best for the world. And if one day I too am killed, I'll go to him and be with him again. I know you're stressed, but it's the way it must be. So resign yourself to it. You've already done a lot to help the planet. In simply saving the Uchiha, you probably made the future better than it already was. It's time to cash in your chips and stop gambling before you lose it all. Jiraiya stood and walked away. Naruto knew he was right. So he stood and went to Sasuke, who was doing his daily duties. Sasuke looked back at Naruto and showed an obvious dissatisfaction with his presence before turning back to his work. What? Naruto stood there. You were right. Sasuke stopped for a moment before continuing. About what, Naruto? About my meddling with fate. I kept pushing things to change, and all it's doing is causing fate to bounce back. It's time
time to leave the flow of the river alone. Let it go where it wants. And in doing so, hope that it doesn't punish us further. But there is something I need from you, Sasuke.
Josh, I put your stuff in here.
Sasuke looked back at him. I won't, Naruto. I don't want to be a part of this anymore. Naruto looked down. In the original
I left most of your stuff there, by the way.
help us during the Fourth Shinobi World War. Only together we can seal away Kaguya. Kaguya won't rise, Sasuke said. They can't take the tailed beasts anymore. Whatever happens, it's over now. Naruto shook his head. Fate has a funny way of bouncing back, making things happen when they're not supposed to. Please, just one last time. Not to change things, but to ensure that everything returns to the way it should be. So fate stops punishing us. Sasuke looked over his shoulder. Just one last time. After that, no more. Naruto nodded. And so they began setting up for the battle. Naruto took Kakashi to the side. Kakashi-sensei, I need to tell you something that I should have told you a long time ago. I was afraid that you wouldn't be able to handle it, but it's best that I let you know now. Kakashi looked at him with curiosity. Well, what is it? Naruto then began to explain. Your old teammate, Obito Uchiha. He lives. Kakashi's gaze turned more serious. What? Naruto nods. In the past, he was saved by an elderly Madara Uchiha, who has since died. He passed his will on to Obito. The death of Rin drove Obito to darkness. Now he's attempting to use the Eye of the Moon plan to create a world of dreams where she still lives. He's lost his way. I don't know if we can save him. Fate keeps fucking against me. I'll trust your judgment, Kakashi-sensei. But I must inform you that you're the only one who can stop him. His powers are based in Kamui, and they make him intangible. But you can use Kamui to stop him. Do you understand? Kakashi nodded. After this, they began to make their way to Amigakure. Once they got there, the forces of Konoha began to make their way in secretly. Naruto would use Sage Mode to try and sense where pain was and would lead them there. Our priority targets are Nagato Uzumaki, Obito Uchiha, and Black Zetsu. Black Zetsu is one of our greater opponents. If anyone sees him, kill him on sight. Do not take him prisoner. The group agreed and then split into 3 different groups. Naruto and his squad went after Pain.
Dude.
His group went after Obito. And Sasuke.
Can you add some more? Can you get another room for Dylan, by the way?
Are you sure he can't be saved? Jiraiya asked. Naruto looked back. He could be, but in the end he had to die. Fate would push it that way. Jiraiya thought about it. So
I'm gonna add a pillar so that way Dylan knows where we are over here.
Pain, Jiraiya entering Sage Mode and Naruto entering 6th Path Sage Mode. The two would rush Pain. Diva and the other paths attempted to hold them back, but frankly, Naruto was so strong at this point that they were hardly a threat. With his truth-seeking orbs, Naruto would be capable of negating much of their jutsu. All the while, Obito and Kakashi met. Kakashi Hatake, the Leaf's white fang. Dispense with the theatrics, Obito. Take that damn fool mask off. The masked man was stunned, but slowly he did as bidden. He bore to Kakashi his twisted and scarred face. All the while, Sasuke and Sakura were facing off against Zetsu. The raid was going just as planned. With Naruto's direction, the battle turned in their favor. The Akatsuki were caught off guard. One by one, each member fell. Zetsu first, then Pain, and finally Obito. Naruto had instructed that they should give no quarter. He felt like an absolute monster, but also that this was what was best for the world. And as hard as it was, they fulfilled their mission. Naruto stood there and watched as Jiraiya cradled Nagato's body in his arms. Naruto slowly began to cry as well. Elsewhere, Kakashi stood over Obito's body and looked into the sky, as if begging Rin for
Do you have a map?
And with that, the battle came to an end. Everyone went home. Despite what they had just done, they went home. There was no
activate the map.
They didn't feel like heroes. They felt like devils. Returning to the village, however, they found it devastating.
And it would take you.
What? Above the village hovered a certain being. He turned to face them. Ishiki, Naruto questioned. The Otsutsuki looked down at him questioningly. You know my name. How so? Naruto was stunned. No matter, the man said. I have come for the Nine Tails. I will soon visit each village to claim what's mine. How are you here?
And you'll see a Leviathan
I
cross.
shouldn't be strong enough for this, he cried out. Ishiki was even more curious to this. I sense the threads of fate have you ensnared, young one, he said. I allied with a certain scientist who provided me a new vessel, one made of the cells of your first Hokage, a vessel that could hold my soul and bear my strength. But little did I know what I could get from this. Suddenly, with a flick of Ishiki's hand, a grove of trees appeared before them, each one with a vine intent to destroy them. Naruto and his group dodged. Landing to the side, Naruto looked around and realized that fate was still punishing them. The timeline had been sped up. Orochimaru was the center of his miscalculations. If only he had killed him that day when they recruited Tsunade. But then again, if he had, there's no telling what he would face here. The very fabric of space and time was buckling under the paradoxes Naruto had introduced. Naruto was watching this occur. He was watching his home burn, and his world be lost due to his actions. He had been but a single man who believed he could play God. He thought he understood the future and how to affect it. But all he had done was ruin his chances at a perfect world. There was only one way to set this right. Kurama, are you with me? The tailed beast nodded. One more time around. Together they activated their Baryon mode, with Naruto supplementing it with his six-path Sage mode. All of this together felt like Naruto's body might just burst at the seams. But with this power together, he knew that they had a chance. He launched up into the air at Ishiki and struck out at him. Ishiki would respond by attempting to drop...
Dude, let's go to sleep.
Naruto dodged as if they weren't even there. With his Sage mode active, he knew that he and Kurama could last...
Your room is right next to mine.
As Ishiki attempted
As
to
the
fire
names.
at them, Naruto once more dodged. He rose up into the air and stopped for but a moment to take in the sunlight and the energy around him. He built it into a massive big ball Rasengan. He would come down on Ishiki and strike him with it, completely evaporating him. He then lowered to the ground as the chakra around him faded. He fell to his knees and then upon his
I'm gonna
face,
put ladders so that way we can get up
Naruto.
easy.
Naruto opened his eyes. I screwed this all up, Kirby Sage. Jiraiya shook his head. No, you saved the village. Naruto laid there and looked at him. Kirby Sage, I shouldn't have messed around with fate. This is the price we pay. The more we dabble with destiny, the more it punishes us. I had a perfect world, and I foolishly...
We have
thought
teleport on.
I can't control, nor can I predict what'll happen. Perhaps it's best that we don't know the future, but take it as it comes. Jiraiya held him as Naruto began to cry. I'm gonna try again, but next time around I won't be able to save you. Jiraiya nodded. It's okay, Naruto. It's okay. Just know, when I die, I'll be thinking about you. Naruto took one last look at his friends. He then closed his eyes, and suddenly he awakened, screaming and crying into the world. His little eyes were hazy, but he thought he saw Kushina and Minato there. Despite being an infant, he vowed within himself to no longer fight fate. The world would be perfect. He just needed to believe it. And that's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Despite everything Naruto tries, fate tends to favor its original course. Now, of course, if we were to do this with just the concept that Naruto knows everything and remove the theatrics, then literally everything in the series doesn't happen, and that's just a boring story. But if you ask me, I think the Naruto series is better with its tragedies, as those were how Naruto developed into who he was. Without them, there's a chance he could have ended up any number of ways, and the story would have ended with a hero too weak of will and heart to drive off the darkness. But anyway, I hope
There's some
you
stuff
enjoyed
in the chats down below. Iron.
And if you wish to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe and ring that bell. Until next time, peace.
It's all made of dark.
Your home is your happy place until you come
I
back
smell
to
Palo
the
Santo.
Used for
My
grease
mom is
plugging.
burning it.
It has a microchip that alternates between 2 scents to fight odors and provide freshness for up to 50 days. Try Febreze Plus.
I was today years old when I learned my dog, or cat, can save the lives of pets at Blue Pearl. Donations at Blue Pearl Blood Banks can help save the lives of up to 3 other pets. Mars and Blue Pearl are honored to help address the nationwide pet blood shortage.
Yeah, Sipshow's money wasn't wasted, guys, and yes, I do read the comments. I might not react all that much, but I do see them all. And yes, I saw you too, Lane Silaxazan. Indeed, we're going to be making this into a video series. I do need to remind people out the gate that using a super thanks doesn't guarantee a video gets produced, but it does help your chances of us seeing it, and makes us consider it a bit more. If it has potential, we'll put it in the holster. That being said, this video has insane amounts of potential, and I can hardly wait to get into it, so let's do just that. Welcome to
It's
the
because
Amagi.
I'm building
Before
the
we begin, only
base,
25%
and this
of
base is
viewers are
going to be
subscribed.
huge.
So if you're a fan of the video, please like and double check if you are subscribed. And with that out of the way, let's get into the video. Down the road, a single man walked. Racked with guilt, his sins bore weight upon his shoulders as a burden unseen to all. The weight thereof